All right, Mizzou fans, Gabe DeArmond back here with you after a 15-minute break. Got a glass of water, might have fed the cat, but hope most of you guys were online for our first show, which was the Burger Smokehouse at home tailgate. This is On the Call with PowerMizzou.com, presented by Call and Gentry Law Group in Jefferson City, Missouri. You can check them out at callgentry.com. In fact, I want to make sure to get their logo up here real quick. There you go, upper left-hand corner, Call and Gentry Law Group. You can check them out, callgentry.com. Chip Gentry, personal friend of mine, excellent dresser, not as good a golfer as he thinks he is. Good attorney, though. Great group of people down there. Seriously, everybody there. I want everybody to know I would never run afoul of the law. I'd never have any problems. Every now and then, somebody might threaten to sue me for infringing upon their freedom of speech by deleting a message board comment or something. I may have run a few things past Chip in my life. Those guys have been great. We've exchanged a few free rounds of golf on each other. Excellent people. Seriously, if you got any legal issues, anything you need taken care of, call in Gentry. Look up the number, callgentry.com, get in touch with them. They're the people that are going to take care of you. So here's what this is, guys. First of all, comment away. I'm going to catch up on the comments. I'm gonna post them. This is going to be very reliant on you guys. I've got ESPN up on my other screen, just over to my left here. So I'm going to spend a lot of time looking over off camera, and I've got that on my screen. I cannot show any of it. I cannot play the audio. I've got it on mute. You guys can't even maybe be able to hear this over my broadcast because I don't know if you guys understand this, but I did not pay millions and millions of dollars to broadcast SEC football. I signed up for a YouTube account and got some software so you can look at me. But basically what we're going to do, we're going to watch the game together. I've got some, we're going to have this scoreboard here up all the time. We have got an SEC scoreboard, which that's the wrong one. This is the right one. I'm going to keep it up to date. That is going to consistently run across the bottom of the screen. Mississippi State is currently up 34-24 on LSU in the fourth quarter. That one is 9 minutes and 37 seconds left. Georgia up 34-10 with 11:15 left in the fourth. They were once down 10-5. They're playing quite a bit better now. But all the SEC scores are going to be there. The Mizzou-Alabama score, I'm going to update that as things happen. When a scoring play happens, we're going to alert everybody, and this thing is going to run across the screen. You know, hey, Larry Roundtree, 6-yard touchdown run. We'll update the score. Just look, if you're watching this, you're probably watching the game, but maybe you had to run to the fridge to get a beer. Maybe you had to duck out and entertain your in-laws like Jim Bob has to, whatever the reason might be. We want to keep you up to date on what's happening, but mostly what we want is your comments. This is a virtual watch party. That's what we're going to do. You guys don't need to listen to me for 3 hours. You guys say what you want to say. If it requires a response, I'll respond. I'll kind of try to keep you updated on what's happening around the SEC. I'll offer you guys some of my reactions to what's going on in the game. Some things that, whether I think what I think Missouri should do, something that went right, something that went wrong, maybe something based on a little program knowledge I might have. But I mostly want this to be about you guys, what you want to talk about. Let's just spend some time hanging out during the game. When this game is over, one other thing I want to point out that obviously we are not going to have right now, but we will have. I'm going to update this at the end of each quarter, and that is, an updated stat sheet. Rushing yards, passing yards. Total passing yards should actually just say total yards, and I didn't catch that at first. So that's on me. First downs, turnovers. We're gonna just kind of give you the basic stats that you're going to want to see. And we'll update that again at the end of every quarter. I do have access to a live stats feed, so I'll probably kind of throw some of those at you guys just, as we go. The schedule's up here on the left-hand side. We'll keep that up sometimes. So, again, fire away. I'm going to make sure pretty much every comment I can, I'm at least going to stick it up there, shout you guys out. Brandon, thanks for watching, man. Appreciate all you guys being here. This is something new that we're trying. We've got about 40 people here right now. That's great. Hopefully it'll grow as we go along. Give us a like, subscribe. We're doing this. We're doing a post-game show. When this game is over, when the clock hits 000, I'm going to end this broadcast. I'm going to then probably go grab something to drink. I'm going to jump on Eli Drinkwitz's post-game Zoom press conference. I'm going to record that press conference. I am then going to start our third live stream of the day, which is the Boulevard Brewing Company post-game drink. I'm going to jump on, say hi. Hey, guys, here was the score. Here's what happened. Let's hear from Eli Drinkwitz. I'm going to immediately replay Eli Drinkwitz's post-game press conference for you guys after the game. When that's done, I'm going to crack open a Boulevard, and I'm going to take your phone calls at 573-234-4935. We'll have that number up a lot at the during the post-game show, but write it down, whatever. Now, Missouri and Alabama, actually, I also want to point out, we're all watching this game probably at slightly different times. I cut the cord about 2 years ago. I do not have cable. I'm watching via Hulu. I find generally during Chiefs games, I tend to be about a play to a play and a half behind people. Don't worry about it, man. You guys comment. I'll pop things up. We're just going to watch the game as we go. And if we're not all at the exact same point, if you're 30 seconds ahead of me or 30 seconds behind me, that's how it'll be. Patrick Aarons is asking about the players not dressed. Well, first of all, Sean Ketting is kicking, so I don't know if that means Harrison Mevis isn't dressed. We talked to Mitchell Forty on the pregame show. He said Daniel Hawthorne wasn't dressed. That's one of the long snappers. Eli Drinkwitz did mention some long snapping issues, availability issues at long snapper, I think was the way he put it. Asking about Connor Bazelak, we don't know for sure. So there were apparently tweets out there saying Connor Bazelak was starting. That was what was announced on the public address system, but Mitchell Forty later tweeted, he clarified, that was just the PA guy reading the depth chart. It doesn't necessarily reflect who is going to start. So I don't know on Connor Bazelak. Those of you who are on Twitter might know a little bit better, but Alabama has the ball first. So as far as I know, we still don't know who's going to start for Missouri. It looks like Jarvis Ware and indeed Ennis Rakestraw are starting at cornerback. Martez Manuel is getting the start at the third safety spot. Tyree Gillespie and Josh Bledsoe are back there somewhere. Nick Bolton was blitzing on that play. Missouri brought pressure on first down. I like that. I think Missouri's going to have to really try to get pressure on the quarterback here. That's really their only chance. Eric updating us on some other games. I'm gonna update our SEC scoreboard when I've got a chance. Okay, update here on a couple of guys that are not dressed for Missouri. Aiden Harrison and Zecor Brooks, a couple of guys who played a little bit last year as true freshmen. Not much. I think both are still technically red shirts. Najee Harris just got his first carry of the year. Went for 6 yards. Bama's sitting here in 3rd and 4. I'm going to wait until I see plays to let you guys know to post these comments just in case there are other people on streams like I am. Again, some of you are going to be ahead of me. It's cool. I don't mind not knowing what happened or knowing what happened before it does happen. That's actually, it wasn't Ennis Rakestraw. It was Jarvis Ware, I believe, with the pass deflection. Tyree Gillespie was also in on it. Nice start for Ryan Walters there. Getting a 3 and out on Alabama. Again, Gillespie and Jarvis Ware. And Jarvis Ware, guys, he's a guy that people in the program think is an NFL cornerback. I know that might surprise some people. But that's true. Look, the defense, I didn't see who won the toss. If you guys know, let me know. If it was Missouri, I very much like the idea of putting the defense on the field first. I mean, you gotta you got to have the better part of your team on the field. There's another true freshman on the field. Chris Abrams-Drain did a nice job running up, catching that punt. He is actually a true freshman, I believe, if memory serves, from Alabama. So, that's it's a pretty nice deal for him. Ennis Rakestraw had an Alabama offer. There you go. It is Sean Robinson officially the starting quarterback, as we had expected. We'd been telling you guys for about 2 weeks that's what we thought. So, hey, Jim Bob, appreciate you joining us from Wyoming, man. I used to live in South Dakota. I love Devil's Tower, nice area of the country. Rest of Wyoming, not a huge fan. Missouri starts with, it's going to take, that is Damon Hazelton. I knew there was a reason I didn't know who that was, but it was kind of a little option. It looked like an option a speed sweep or something maybe to Damon Hazelton. Didn't gain much. I don't think that kind of play is going to gain a whole lot against Alabama if you want to know the truth. But little something different. And then Hazelton, the target, and drops the pass. And again, I'm interested to see what we see out of him because he's a guy that he didn't practice much. He probably hasn't caught many footballs from Sean Robinson at all. So it'll be real interesting to see exactly what Missouri can get out of him today. Mississippi State now up 37-34 on LSU. Georgia still rolling Arkansas. A couple other SEC games getting underway in about 15 minutes. Tennessee, South Carolina. Oh my, a massive blitz right up the middle. Sean Robinson had absolutely no chance on that play, guys. I mean, absolutely no chance. Sack Bama is right. I didn't see who it was, but what happened exactly in the middle of the line. But I mean, Harris came absolutely free for Missouri. The punt's going to be the grad transfer, Grant McInnes. Again, some of you guys have probably already seen the punt, and it's cool. Go ahead. Comment away. I don't care if you ruin what happens for me. I've seen a whole lot of games. Jim Bob wants to talk about the offensive line issues. Yeah. Look, guys, there are some offensive line issues on this team. It wasn't very good last year, right? Well, gone from last year are Yasir Durant, member of the Kansas City Chiefs. Trevor Wallace-Sims, Jacksonville Jaguars practice squad. Tristan Colon-Castillo, Baltimore Ravens practice squad. So the three best guys on last year's line are gone. And the line wasn't very good last year. So it wasn't going to be very good this year. Then Thalen Robinson opted out. And Hiron White is hurt for the season. And Jack Buford opted out. Whole bunch of issues, man. Marcus Johnson really has his work cut out for him this year. No question about it. Tyree Gillespie, man, making his presence felt in this game already early on. Couple of nice tackles, that on Jalen Waddle on the jet sweep. I'm going to just kind of try to run through personnel that I can see for you guys. Kobe Whiteside out there, Chris Turner and Trey Williams wearing number 0. Looks like Markel Utsey is the other defensive tackle. Gillespie and Bledsoe, the safeties, along with Manuel, Nick Bolton and Devin Nicholson at linebacker. Catch made there. Ennis Rakestraw in coverage. Nice tackle. But I believe that was Devontae Smith that caught that pass. And, guys, this Bama receiving core, I don't think it's quite as good as it was last year with Jerry Jeudy and with Henry Ruggs. But it is a heck of a receiving core, no question about it. And Missouri's freshman defensive back is going to get welcome to the league. And Nick Bolton, welcome to the league. That kid can play some serious football. I think, he hits. I remember we were talking earlier this week, his first action at Missouri was actually at Alabama in that game. I think Alabama won. I think the final was 37-10. But 2 years ago, if you guys remember, Terez Hall got kicked out of the game for targeting. And Bolton came in. And, welcome to college football, son. But he has been on an upward trajectory ever since. Certainly the best Missouri. Well, I was going to say the best Missouri linebacker since Kentrell Brothers, but it's not like Cale Garrett was bad. But honestly, I think you can make an argument Nick Bolton is as good as anybody they've had since Sean Weatherspoon. That's not an insult to Kentrell, not an insult to Cale Garrett, not an insult to Terez Hall, but Nick Bolton is one heck of a linebacker. Alabama moving the chains down at the 30-yard line right now. So, yeah. I need a drink of water, guys. I've talked a lot. I'm not going to talk that much throughout the whole thing, I promise you. I'm going to let you guys enjoy the game, but like I said, do love the comments. Want to see your comments and see what you think as this thing unfolds at Faroe. Wow, Josh Bledsoe just in the end zone, as Brian says. Josh Bledsoe knocks away a pass from Devontae Smith, and that is not easy. If you remember, Devontae Smith is the kid who caught the national title-winning touchdown a couple years ago. Josh Bledsoe just ran with him step for step for about 15 yards to knock that ball away late. Mac Jones put it in there, nice throw, but excellent job by Bledsoe of recovering. And then, Najee Harris and Tyree Gillespie, heck of a collision on the sideline there. We're almost 5 minutes into this one. 10-11 left in the first quarter, and didn't see that. That's bad. My screen just went to Jarvis Ware, and he looks like he is in some serious pain, guys. He's down on the sideline. That is Missouri's quarterback, no question. Probably their best cornerback. Got to update the tweeters real quick. That's definitely a right leg injury, no question. Yeah, probably Ish Burdine is, I think that's right, probably the guy that's going to replace him. Not positive. Mitchell tweeted that Jarvis is being helped off the field, favoring his right leg, and I think Sherman Wilkinson kind of is probably summing up what Ryan Walters is thinking right now. That'll about do it right there as far as how you feel about that one. No question. That's not a guy that Missouri could afford to go down on the second series of the game. Right now, total yards 55 to -10 in favor of Alabama, thanks to the sack. Najee Harris has run for 42 of those. Missouri's done a pretty nice job defensively. Elsewhere in the SEC, 6 minutes left. Mississippi State with the ball, leading LSU by a field goal. 5 minutes left. Georgia 34, Arkansas 10. So I'm waiting for my broadcast to come back. You guys may already be back. I don't know. Again, if you just jumped on, Jarvis Ware went down on the last snap. Don't know. Didn't look good. A lot of times you guys are getting information on the TV broadcast probably before the people in the press box are getting it. So if they say on Ware what it is, feel free to add it in the comments. I'll put it up on the broadcast. But you're probably getting it before the people in the press box are. You're certainly getting it before I am because, again, I have the volume down on my broadcast so that the audio doesn't come through my microphone over this because there are that would be yanked from YouTube and I would get in severe trouble. So James, thanks for watching, man. I appreciate it. Hey, so far nothing to be upset about in this game. It's still scoreless. Missouri's still in this game. And this brings up an interesting point. I'd like to know what you guys think. To me, I know you want your team to win. I get it. Everybody always wants your team to win, right? But this offseason was so crazy. I'm so excited just to have football. I mean, yes, 8-2 would be much more fun than 2-8, but I just want to watch college football. And even though there's been college football on the last couple of weeks, it hasn't seemed like it to me. I just haven't really been into it. Now that the SEC is underway, maybe maybe that will change. There you go. Jarvis Ware being helped off the field. Ish Burdine in to replace him. And it looks like on his first snap, Ish Burdine is going to line up against Devontae Smith. If I am Mac Jones, I 100% know where I am throwing this ball right now. And let's see what happens. Of course, you also might hand it to Najee Harris, who now has 47 yards on 5 carries. Yeah, I can tell you, Patrick. I've seen some Alabama teams in person, and they look different, man. Nick Saban grows them different. Recruiting stars and rankings ain't everything, but that's a factory down there in Tuscaloosa right now. What Saban's got going on. First and goal for the Tide at the 5 on my feed. Some of you guys may already. Who knows? It may be 6-0. I don't really know yet. Not quite. Just a couple yards for Najee Harris on first down. Brad, I'll talk about this a little bit more at the end of this drive. I'll leave the comment up for a minute, but I would love to see 10 SEC games the standard. I think it'd be great. Most coaches wouldn't. They're going to lose bonuses, but like from an entertainment standpoint, this season's better for you. It's better for me. I don't care about watching Central Arkansas or Eastern Michigan. Those are terrible games. I don't want to see them. Again, I'll pop that back up in a minute. Mizzou trying to make a little goal line stand here. It looked like Bledsoe and Nick Bolton again were in on a tackle at the 1-yard line. Darius Robinson in the ball game for Missouri. Akil Byers in the game for Missouri on the interior. So there you go. Najee Harris plunges in. It is 6-0. See how quick we got that updated. We got the little breaking news ticker rolling across there for the scoring play. I'll update it after I assume he makes the extra point. And 7:46 in, halfway. So just about halfway through the first quarter. Najee Harris, the Heisman candidate, plunges in from the 1-yard line. Missouri made him work. I mean, hey, I don't think anybody thought Missouri was going to pitch a shutout in this game. So, it's going to happen. It's the way it goes. Pop up some of your all's comments here. Move them around so they don't go straight over my face. I know you guys wouldn't want that. Now, that's the interesting thing, Eric. Is that enough for Bama to win the game? It might be, yeah. It's possible Missouri's not going to score. I don't think Missouri scores more than a couple times in this game, maybe 10 points. But, hey, you never know, man. That's why they play the games. There you go. Jarvis Ware out of the injury tent on the exercise bike. Great news because the way that looked, guys, boy, I really didn't think he was going to be back in this game maybe all year long, certainly. So, again, appreciate all you guys that are hanging out here. Throw in your comments. Cole Carter helping us out with a little update from Baton Rouge where KJ Costello just threw his 5th touchdown pass of the day. He is 36 of 60 for 623 yards and 5 touchdowns. And all of a sudden, the defending national champs about to start 0-1 because they're down 44-34 to Mississippi State with less than 4 minutes to play. Look, want to go back to a previous comment. Brad was asking about Nick Saban saying they should make 10 games the SEC standard, or 10 SEC games the standard. I'd love it. Because I've covered Missouri for 17 years now, and every year there's at least 2 games I go to Faurot Field, and I'm just wasting my time. I know who's going to win before I go, and I don't see I get nothing out of 79-0 against Delaware State with a running clock. It's a complete waste of time. You guys don't read the stories. You don't care. It's a complete waste of time for everybody involved. So, yeah, give me a game against Alabama, a game against Mississippi State, a game against Auburn, whatever it is. It's much better. Fans have been saying for years, I wish they played somebody. Well, now they're playing somebody, right? And I think we're about to find out. Do you really wish they played somebody, or do you wish they played somebody and beat somebody? Because I always said the danger of actually playing somebody is what happens if, you're 4-8 or whatever the case may be. But I like this. I like every week you can see a game that you don't know the outcome maybe beforehand, right? I mean, we think we know Alabama's going to beat Missouri. We think we know that, but it's not the biggest upset in the history of college football if they don't. It could happen. They are an SEC team. So anyhow, Bama about to kick the ball back to Missouri here. We'll take that breaking news scoring play off the screen for you. And again, I know there's comments coming in, and I'm going to get to them, no question. Hump 707, thanks for watching, man. One of the most exciting things for me is just seeing all your guys' YouTube names. We got Hump 707, we got Sir Mufflebuns. I mean, you guys are going to have to get creative as we build this thing and as we do this a little bit more. Hey, looks like oh, yeah, I'm getting a studio update. I can confirm Texas is not back. They have given up 56 points to Matt Wells and Texas Tech, which, by the way, almost lost to Houston Baptist 2 weeks ago. So, officially, Texas not back. Excellent point here, Eric. This is why we watch games. Man, that trip to Wyoming last year. How about that return? Who is that? Oh, I'm sorry. It's not a return. I was not paying attention. I looked away. That's Jalen Knox on a little swing pass out to midfield. Heck of a play there. That's a Drinkwitz play, man. That's all scheme right there. Getting Jalen Knox open. Daniel Parker out on the field now as a tight end. So that's good to see. He had seriously like a career-threatening issue in the offseason. Larry Roundtree, man. Love watching that kid run. Not the fastest guy in the country, but he spins. He gets 11 yards. Very solid. See, these are the kind of things I like, guys. This is what I want to do during this game. Like football, yeah, we're all watching the game. It's cool. That's fun. But better Costello, KJ, or Elvis. I was never an Elvis Costello fan. Who's the Costello and Abbott and Costello? What's his name? He might be the best Costello. I mean, KJ certainly today. He's going to own the state of Mississippi this week. I can't think of many other Costellos. Oh, Jimmy Costello, I liked him. He was a nice kid. Played here a few years ago. Jalen Knox, again, man, that was a kid they loved 2 years ago, and he started really well as a true freshman, but then he really hit a wall in his true freshman season, and I think there were some behind-the-scenes things that happened, but he really hit a wall and didn't do much second half of that year. Then last year, Man, nobody did much. I mean, that offense just didn't get it done. Offensive line, that is Zeke Powell on the left side next to Xavier Delgado. Mike Maietti is the center. Right side is Case Cook and Larry Borum. It's been Sean Robinson all the way at quarterback. I think we're gonna see Connor Bazelak, but I'm not positive about it, to be quite honest with you. Yeah, O-line's going to struggle this year. I don't think there's a lot of question about it. It's and that makes everything on offense pretty tough. Robinson just had to get rid of one. He did. Now, this will be interesting. Missouri's in 4th and 2 at the 33-yard line. This is a 51-yard field goal. Either Sean Ketting, who's a walk-on, or Harrison Mevis, who's a freshman. This is a situation I go for it, and I don't even think about it. I'm going for it on 4th and 2 here. You're not beating Bama with 50-yard field goals, and Missouri is going for it. And I'm going to look away from the screen and watch the broadcast so you guys don't tell me what happens. Well, it looks like what happened is timeout. I think that was probably a Missouri timeout. Yeah, 4th and 2, 33-yard line, down 7-0. Hey, I think you guys, I mean, you tell me what you think. I think you've got to be encouraged with this offense. I mean, they're doing it without really an offensive line, but we've seen some creativity already with Damon Hazelton on the little sweep, Jalen Knox on kind of the just almost, wasn't a shovel pass, but almost a shovel pass on the outside. So I think you guys have got to be encouraged. He's going to have to scheme his way to some yards and points this year. He is not going to line up against Alabama and score 30. It's not going to happen. They don't have the talent, guys. He's going to have to scheme his way to some points to stay in some games. So, you know. And, yeah, Trey. And I know Trey from over the years is a guy that knows football. And, yeah, I agree. Offense is certainly creative. You know, I like it. Now, a small sample size. Second series. You know, who knows? But I like it. I like going on 4th and 2. I think you should always go on 4th and 2 once you cross midfield, unless you're in a situation where like a field goal gives you the lead or, you know, really changes the game. Just 52 seconds left in Baton Rouge. Mississippi State still up 10. Minute 23 left in Fayetteville, and Georgia is up 37-10 there. And there you go. Like I said, you guys can hear a lot of stuff on the broadcast that I might not necessarily hear. So certainly appreciate you pointing that out when it does happen. Said they expect to see Connor Bazelak around the third drive or so. Now, it'll be interesting to see if he sticks to that, because I think this has been a pretty nice drive out of Sean Robinson. I've been impressed with what I've seen, and we haven't seen what Robinson does best yet, which is run. So, again, you guys may be a little bit ahead of me, so I'm going to look over at the broadcast, but I'm going to say 4th and 2 here. I'd like to see something that gives Sean Robinson the option to take off and run the football. Doesn't necessarily have to be a designed run, but I'd like to see something that gives him at least the option to get out on the corner and try to pick up a couple yards with his legs, because that is really more of what his strength is. I don't know about you guys. I assume I'm going to get real tired of watching these promos for Emergency Call with Luke Wilson. No offense, I'm sure he's a great guy, but I assume we'll see that 26 more times during this game. I assume that's a mask comment from Skip, which I can appreciate that. You know, I don't want to get into the argument, but some of the mask wearing has been amusing. All right, so I'm coming back with the fourth down play about to happen. I'm sure most of you guys have seen it, but I'm going to wait just a second here. Yeah, Missouri did what I thought they might do. Tried to run that speed option. Boy, Alabama had that one dead. That's just that's not going to work, really. That's all right. Took a shot. I would have liked to see. I would like to see more of something that was a run pass option, but you know, is what it is. Took a shot. Yeah, Eric's exactly right. I mean, Sean Robinson had to pitch immediately. That was as well as you can possibly defend an option. Bama had that absolutely perfect. And my word, Jalen Waddle just, I mean, between Tyree Gillespie and Ishburdine, and look, it wasn't perfect coverage, but I mean, Gillespie hit him right when he caught the ball, and Mac Jones put it in there perfectly. And sometimes, man, you tip your cap to the guy on the other team. Sometimes they make plays, and that's a play not a lot of dudes make. Najee Harris then hurdled Tyree Gillespie on the next play. Hey, in all this, Tyree Gillespie he's impressive, man. He has been around the ball on almost every Alabama snap. I mean, I've said his name probably 8 times already, and we're not even through the first quarter. And heck of a hit on Waddle. Just that was perfect defense by a safety, and Waddle made the play anyway. Oof. Devontae Smith didn't quite get a foot down in the corner of the end zone there. And Adam Sparks couldn't keep up with Jalen Waddle. No shame in that. A whole bunch of dudes this year are not going to be able to keep up with Jalen Waddle. And just like that, 13-0 Bama. And really at the point now, I think, where, all right, Missouri got to, at the very least, hang on to the ball and probably get some points to prevent this one from getting pretty ugly pretty early. It is 13-0 PAT pending with 4:14 left in the first. 4 plays, 66 yards. Bama, PAT's good. Bama has now scored on back-to-back drives, and yeah, not a huge surprise, I don't think, that any of us are exactly shocked by these developments, but that is what's happened. Mac Jones with the touchdown pass. They have gone final in Baton Rouge, 44-34 Mississippi State, with the first upset of the day in the Southeastern Conference. Arkansas is not going to pull the second one. They're down 27 points with 17 seconds left. In games just getting underway, Vanderbilt and Texas A&M, Tennessee and South Carolina are both scoreless very early on. So I'm going to update our scoreboard while this game's at commercial. Then I'll catch up on some of your all's comments. Yeah, there's a lot of dudes on Bama with a lot of stars. No question there. How about Tyler Beatty? Nice return out across the 30-yard line. Got to agree with T. Rise here. You need points out of this drive. One way or another. You got to find a way to get in the end zone on this drive. Hey, Texas got in the end zone. Went for two. What happened? Went for two. Got it. Texas is back again. 56-56 going to overtime against Texas Tech. Good Lord. Yeah, we do have a personal foul against Alabama, so Missouri's going to start out beyond the 45-yard line, which is, not bad. Now you've really got to get points out of this drive. I mean, there's no two ways about it. You got to score here. Oh, hey. Yeah, a little disruption on the sideline. Looked like Aubrey Miller was involved for Missouri. Not sure who it was for Alabama. Still got Sean Robinson at quarterback. Tyler Beatty's the running back to start this drive. And look, Eli Drinkwitz he's a lot better play caller than I am. But you just can't run all the way across the field against Alabama. Their guys are faster than your guys. You're gonna have to. You gotta get something that hits the line a little quicker. The sweeps or the sweeps and getting the edge, like Eric said. I mean, it's not going to work. Tyler Beatty's one of the fastest players Missouri has, and he can't get to the corner. They got to do more of that. This is more a Larry Roundtree game. Like you're going to have to move him forward, push him, and get 4 or 5 yards. Yeah, Sherman. Yeah, we're all in agreement, man. The East-West, the sweeps, it's fine every now and then, but that cannot be a regular approach. It's not going to work against this defense. Those dudes they're just faster than pretty much anybody you've got. Sean Robinson going to spend a whole lot of time running for his life tonight. A whole lot of time. Yeah, I mean, I'm not. You may be a play ahead of me, True. Maybe Alabama scores here and it is already over. And if that's the case, okay. I won't call it over at 14-0. But look, this is. It's simply not a game. That was Dylan Moses on the sack, by the way. It's simply not a game that I could find any possible way. Oh, wait. Hey, Missouri got the ball back. Defensive holding. So definitely not over. Missouri's still with the chance. The line's not good, man. And it's not even what it's supposed to be again. Hiron White, not there. Thalen Robinson, not there. Tristan Castillo left early. So, hey, these guys are doing the best they can. But Missouri is 100% outgunned up front. There's no doubt. Sean Robinson hit, fumbled. I think Alabama got that. Not sure. Yeah, it looks like defense is staying on the field, so that must have gone out of bounds. This is what the offensive strategy is now late in the first quarter. Just throw it up. Maybe we'll get lucky. They really like Kiki Chisholm. A little miscommunication, obviously, there. Chisholm broke that route off. Robinson thought he was going to keep going. So, look, you probably see a lot of that with guys that haven't played together. Weird off season, I think it's a little early to say Robinson's not good. I mean, he's all over the place. But, again, they've talked about it, and we've talked about it. I think you're going to see Connor Bazelak in this game. No question. 4th and 9. Look, I get you got to kick. I mean, you have to. But at the same time, I think maybe it wouldn't kill you to go for it. South Carolina's up 7-0 on Tennessee. Vandy up 3-0 on A&M. And the Georgia game now a final. I would kick a ball nowhere near Jalen Waddle all day long. Nice coverage, though. Fair catch at the 8. Yeah, that's really the deal, Eric. I mean, you're right. I don't care. Mahomes can't do much with that. Okay, well, maybe he could. No, he couldn't. I mean, with the kind of time Sean Robinson has back there, I don't know what he could do. I mean, you're not going to get more than probably 2.5, 3 seconds on any play, and that's virtually impossible for any quarterback, to be quite honest. Now, I mean, at this point, your defense they're going to have to make a play. They're probably going to have to score if you want to make a game out of this, if we're being honest. And that is not easy when Alabama has a guy like Najee Harris carrying the ball. He's now got 11 carries for 66 yards, and we are still in the first quarter. So that equates to like Trey Mason-like numbers. Sorry to bring back a bad memory there. My goodness, that kid can run. Just hanging on. That was Martez Manuel just hanging on for dear life. It's possible. A Boulevard could make appearance at halftime. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I never got too much into the ratings, but I'm going to guess Bama's like a 98, and Missouri is significantly less than 98. Like I said, I never knew exactly how those worked. By 2014, I was like 37 years old with 2 kids. I wasn't playing much NCAA football, to be quite honest, but these teams would not be ranked similarly. Mac Jones has a minute to throw the ball. Still had to drop it off. Missouri secondary's really done a pretty nice job so far in this game. Brian, that's also always fairly sage advice, to be quite honest with you. I thought Ennis Rakestraw was going to get a pick there, but I don't know. He just missed it. Somehow that ball must have gone through his arms. Third and 12. It would behoove Missouri to get a stop on 3rd and 12. Sorry, I don't mean to use big words, but that means it would be good. I'm guessing by this comment that they don't actually get a stop. Yeah, right in the middle of the zone. I mean, dude just found a hole, and Mac Jones can throw it, man. That was he was right between like 3 or 4 defenders, just perfectly found the hole. Yes, true it is. I think we all kind of expected that, if we're being honest, right? The new version of Cale Hinchis just went down to about the 4-yard line. Hale Hinchis, not Cale. Sorry, my bad. All right, so Here's what we're going to do now. I'm going to pop up our stats page, and I'm going to update this live. So, like, you guys are just going to see some numbers pop on the screen, but that's the way it's got to work because I don't have any other way to do it. So. All right, so just kind of hang with me while I'm updating these. I'll get back to your comments and all that as we go, no question. But just if we do this after every quarter, then it will be certainly a lot easier than trying to do it all at the end of the game. And again, I'll remind you on this that where it says total passing yards, it's actually supposed to say total yards. That was just a little mistake that I didn't see when we were looking over the graphics, and I can't change it on the fly. So yeah, total yards 218 to 40. I mean that's not real misleading. That's fairly indicative of what we've seen, I think. See if the broadcast is back on yet. Not quite. So I'm actually making decent time getting this done. So, well done by me. Take that scoreboard off here. All right, so here's your stats at the end of the first quarter. 70 to 4, Bama in rushing yards, 148 to 36 passing yards, 218 to 40 total yards. I mean, that's kind of what you would think was going to happen. So I'm going to keep these stats up here for a minute, and I'm going to run through some of your all's comments as we go. Not a lot we've seen is surprising. Now, that's not to say it's not disappointing. I think it is disappointing because you saw Mississippi State go to LSU and win a game. You saw Arkansas beating Georgia for a half. You would have liked to maybe see this last a little bit longer, but that goes back to what I was saying before the game on our pregame show. Nick Saban is the king of preparation. He's not going to let his teams come out flat, So this is something that I actually meant to bring up earlier. Mac Jones, he considered Missouri. Missouri and I want to say Kentucky were in his final three, and he committed to Alabama, and then there was some time there where it was pretty obvious he wasn't going to play. And it looked like maybe he was going to decommit and visit Missouri as Bama has scored again. That's Jalen Waddle, at least for the time being, if it stands, with a what was that? 11-yard touchdown catch, I believe. They're going to review this. It's standing for now. I think he got in, but I've honestly been looking down at the screen. Let's see a replay. Ishburdine couldn't quite get to him. He's in there. That's a touchdown. That's going to stand. Yeah. Chuck Edmonds is a guy I like right here. Chuck, that's a good choice, man. I don't know that it's my favorite log boat, but it is a good one. And like, look, Boulevard sponsoring our post game show. I'm going to drink Boulevard there, but I'm an equal opportunity employer. Log boat, yeah, boys, a good one. If you haven't tried denim jeans, try that. The best one, my favorite one, actually, is Chino and the Slackers. That's a good one. So, yeah, while we're talking beer, there is football going on. There's a review. Yeah, Mac Jones has a long time to throw. There's no doubt. I mean, this game is being won and lost by the offensive lines. There's no questions about it. I appreciate the new prediction. That reminds me, I've got to lock the prediction thread on our board so that nobody cheats and puts in the final score after they're done. So did that. Okay, so we're still in a review, as far as I know, but I'm pretty sure he scored, or I'm pretty sure it's close enough. And Eric, here's the thing about what you're saying, and I get it, but these guys only get 10 games to play, man. They've only got 67 players dressed out, maybe even fewer than that. There's a lot of guys who have opted out, and these guys didn't. They deserve to play, man. Nick Bolton didn't come back. It looks like they're taking the touchdown away, which surprises me. Yeah, Jalen Waddle looks as surprised as I am. But anyway, they did not. These guys didn't come here to get pulled in the second quarter because this team's not good enough. That's not fair. I get what you're saying, and I'm not trying to say it's a dumb thing to say or anything at all, because it does make some sense. But it's not fair to those guys to do that. I'm going to leave this score at 20-0 because I think that's what it's going to be in about 3 seconds. It is Najee Harris's second 1-yard touchdown run of the day, so it is now 20-0, about 6 seconds after it was first 20-0. And it will likely be 21-0 very soon. Yeah, there are some guys in the press box that are starting to write. I'm certain about that. I don't know if this is like a sarcastic comment based on a play that just happened, or if something actually happened with Chris Shear and I missed. I don't know. Yeah, David, and I want to point something out. Like, look, I've learned a few things about listening to coaches over the years, and there were a couple times in Eli Drinkwitz's press conferences that I just thought he knows this team isn't good, and he's trying to tell people this team isn't good. That's just the way I felt listening to him. And, and especially, again, I don't think this is the fairest judgment, the best measuring stick. This is one of the 2 best teams in the country, and not just this year, but over the last 10 years. Last 15 years maybe. So this isn't a fair time to measure them, but this is going to be a tough year. Again, they fired their coach last year. COVID and guys opting out and guys hurt, and it's going to be a long season. I don't think there's a lot of questions about that, to be quite honest with you. Let's pop these other SEC scores back up. Let me see what we got going on. Nothing's really changed. Tennessee still down 7-0. Really surprising. Vanderbilt up 3-0 on A&M with just a couple minutes left in the first quarter. Just scrolling through some of your guys' comments. Again, appreciate all you guys hanging out here with us. I hope you'll stick around and look, man, open a beer and just BS a little bit. I mean, if we get down to 4 people in the third quarter and it's 62-0, we might turn this off. But I hope you guys stick around for a while. Connor Bazelak in at quarterback now. I do want to pop those stats back up for you real quick, rather than you guys looking at me. These were, again, the first quarter stats, so they're not necessarily 100% up to date, because we're now at the 13:55 mark. But I think Bama had a 10-yard pass and a 1-yard run that would be added to that. But again, seeing a quarterback switch for Missouri, Bazelak in now. Robinson did a nice job on that second drive. Third drive, kind of rough. Didn't have a ton of time. I got to be honest, guys. Swing pass to Daniel Parker just isn't something that really gives me a whole lot of confidence against the Alabama defense. I don't know what does. That's not criticizing Drinkwitz too much. I mean, I think play calling is an easy thing to criticize, but when you can't really run and you don't have time to pass, I mean, I don't know, what are you going to call? I'm not blaming him for that. Oh, that's Damon Hazelton's second drop, and look, I get he hadn't had a lot of practice time and all that, but this is a fifth-year player. Those are passes that have to be caught. He beat Patrick Surtain, and Connor Bazelak put it on the money. And he dropped it. Good note from Bryce Isbell. Radio broadcast says Jarvis Ware should be back the next drive, so that's good for Missouri. Jump ball, and I thought Hazelton got a hand on that one. Maybe he didn't. Maybe that one just got knocked away by Bama. I'm not sure, but I'm seeing some hands issues with the guy that we thought was. Yeah, that looked more like Bama got an arm in there. So I'm not going to blame him for that one. Oh, hey, I haven't given Alabama its extra point yet. Not that I'm sure any of you guys were too upset, but it's 21-0, not 20-0. Missouri punting again, and it's going to be kind of a long night. Yeah, look, this isn't Drinkwitz's fault this year. There are talent issues here, no question. And a lot of that certainly is Barry Odom. The offensive line and the quarterback. I think quarterback's worse off than D-line, to be honest. And that's not to say Connor Bazelak can't be good, but he's not ready to be a productive SEC starter right now. He's just not ready yet. Basically, Barry Odom never replaced Drew Lock. And ultimately, it's why he's not the coach now, if you want the truth. I mean, Kelly Bryant looked like a decent Band-Aid, but obviously we know how that worked out. Hey, maybe Travion Ford and Kyron Montgomery are the second coming, but I'm not going to start quite counting on the class of 2021 to be the complete turnaround. That's an interesting question from Keegan about, if they'd have tried harder for grad transfers on the O-line. But, I mean, they took one. That again, they thought they were going to have Hiron White. They thought they were going to have Thalen Robinson. Maybe spring football probably had an effect. Maybe he didn't quite understand how dire the situation was because I think he had one full pads practice with his team in spring. So that's definitely a consideration, Yeah, but look, I think now you guys are starting to understand what we've kind of been talking about during fall camp. And when we all talk about it, we're generally not making it up. It's generally because we're hearing things and stuff like that. And we knew the offensive line was going to be an issue. And that is really the worry is offensive line recruiting. I mean, they've got Connor Tollison, but they've missed on a lot of guys. But the problem is you're not recruiting offensive linemen for next year. You're not asking true freshmen to come in and start in the SEC. The answer for next year is going to have to be one of a few things. JUCO guys, transfers, or just guys on team are just not ready this year that are ready next year. Now I'll also say this. When Josh Heupel was the offensive coordinator here, like he hit a bad offensive line. That offensive line his first year in 2016, it was not good. But he hit it with his scheme. Eli Drinkwitz is going to have to do some of that. There's no question about it. We're going to have to see some of that as we go along. Shout out my guy, J.G. Tate from Auburn Athletics. Jay is he encouraged me to do all this, guys. You guys, I want you to subscribe to his channel on YouTube. He does shows every week. He's the master at this. He's been really helpful in me setting this all up, getting the technology going, showing me how to do it. He's a couple years ahead of me, but Jay does a great job on all this stuff, and so I wanted to put his comment up to say, first off, man, Jay, thanks for checking in, and it's 21-0 Bama. We're pretty close to the drinking stage of this thing, but thanks for checking in, Jay. Thanks for all your help, man, and hope you guys check out some of his stuff. Good old Dan is already at the drinking part of this game, I think. The name like Good Old Dan, I feel like you were at the drinking part of this game at like 3:30 this afternoon. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's not fair. I don't know. So, yeah, Alabama has the ball back and just lost about 16 yards on an end around. Really nice play by Joshua Bledsoe. Steve Sarkisian not very happy. This is an interesting question. Does the all-time Mizzou team beat this Bama squad? I mean, yes, because, like, you guys forget, man, Missouri had two teams that were within a quarter of playing the national title. So take some dudes off that team, some dudes for like Howard Richards and Kellen Winslow and James Wilder back in the 70s. Yes, Missouri could beat this Bama team with an all-time Missouri team. This Missouri team is going to beat this Bama team like one time out of 100, maybe. Hey, looks like we got a penalty. Alabama going the wrong direction. Yeah, David, that's certainly possible. This might actually be Missouri's best chance. Alabama is about second and, 28 from its own 7. Maybe force a turnover here or something. That honestly, I think, is the best chance at points. This is going back to what I was talking to a few minutes ago. Again, I'm a couple minutes behind on the comments, catching up and stuff because I'm trying to watch the game and update scores and stuff. But I do appreciate all your guys' comments, and we are going to get them up and make sure that your name's on the screen and say thank you guys to watching. But this goes back to what I was saying with Drinkwitz talking in fall camp. I don't think he's a guy that hides a lot of things he thinks. And he didn't think this team was real good, and he knew the team they were playing in the opener was real good. So that's how it happens. I will let Dan's comment just kind of speak for itself there. Hey, Missouri gets a stop, second of the game. I think this is the 5th Bama drive. They got a 3-and-out on the first drive. Bama scored 3 straight touchdowns, and then on this drive had to. I'm not sure what that dude was doing on first down, and then had the penalty. I'm gonna have to drink a whole lot more water before this post-game show because these headphones for 8 hours give you a little headache. Oh, punt. Nice job fielding it by Chris Abrams-Drain. He had nowhere to go, but did do a nice job fielding it, no question. Oh, Eric Mullins just brought up. So I'll tell you a little story about that 1993 A&M game. I was 17. I was a senior in high school. And this was back before the day where every game was on TV, right? Missouri was never on TV back then. And I was so fired up. Mizzou and A&M were on TV. It was like the Fox Game of the Week or something like that. Turn it on. Man, that game didn't last long. 73-0. Greg Hill had like 987 rushing yards. And, yeah, I couldn't make it all. I was so disappointed that Missouri was actually on national TV, and I couldn't even force myself to watch the whole game. Sean Robinson back in a quarterback. Actually, nice catch there by Damon Hazelton there. No Tank 7 yet, Bob. It might happen. I don't know who Joshua Tittle is. I'm sure the broadcast is telling us. I don't know who he is. But, no, there is some Tank 7 in my fridge, but I've got a different one picked out for tonight. Again, one of the things that I'm kind of actually excited to do with this postgame show is we're doing opponent-themed boulevards for the postgame show every week. And I'm not going to tell you what they are before the postgame show starts because I hope some of you log on and call in and stuff like that. But it's not Tank 7 this week, I'll tell you that. There will be a week it's Tank 7, but it's not this week. Yeah, Bama beat Missouri pretty good in that 2014 title game. I'll be honest, man, that 2014 Missouri team was – I'm still not sure how they made it. I just didn't think they were good enough to get there. They had Shane Ray and Marcus Golden, but as a team, I didn't think they were good enough. Who is number 14? Hey, that's Dominic Jacinto. I'm not sure – staring down at the defender when you're down 21-0 is really the look you want, but, whatever. Okay. All right, I'm just trying to catch up. I'm just going to kind of scroll through some comments and pop them up there. Robinson, 5 out of 10, 53. He's had a couple drops. So did Connor Bazelak. So Eric's got the fastest feet on here, I think. He keeps telling me what's happening before it's happening. Now, that's a heck of an effort from Damon Hazelton. Couple nice moves, 9 yards, sets up 3rd and 1. So, look, we've criticized him some, but definitely got to give him some credit here, too. Really do. I know this isn't the most compelling game, guys, but appreciate you hanging out here. I mean, look, there's only 10 of them, man. Like, you're gonna watch, right? You want to see him play. Why you're not gonna give up in the second quarter? So, might as well hang out here, have a little back and forth. Share your misery loves company, right? Another little bit, halftime, go grab yourself a drink and come back and we'll talk. Missouri down at the 32. This is their deepest penetration. They were at the Bama 33 earlier. Larry Roundtree, I've been impressed with in this game. He hadn't had a lot of carries, but he's now got 6 carries for 34 yards. I mean, that's almost 6 yards a carry against Alabama. That's pretty good. The top 2 running backs, 8 carries for 43. That's over 5 yards a carry. I mean, that's pretty solid production, really, out of those 2 guys. Roundtree, again, down inside the 15. Appreciate that, Patrick. I actually, at one time, I did some play-by-play when I was in TV in South Dakota. We broadcast high school games, and after one game, one of the guys I worked with seemed surprised that I actually understood football. I don't really know why. I mean, it was my job, but hey, whatever. Yeah, I don't know where Sean Robinson was going there. I mean, he only ended up losing like 2 or 3. But if you just go down on the first hit, you don't lose anything. You don't gain anything either. But that was similar to that Alabama play, man. You can't take everything to the house. Sometimes you just accept that they made a play and line up at 2nd 8 to live another down. Haven't seen Kiki Chisholm catch a ball yet, I don't think, which surprised me a little bit. It's mostly been Hazelton that's been targeted. Jalen Knox a little bit, but threw one to Chisholm. But again, jet sweep on 3rd and 11. Maybe Jalen Knox will prove me wrong, but boy, I just don't see how that really has a chance to gain 12 yards. All right, so Mizzou on the board, which is, that's good. Better than not being on the board, certainly. All right, so that makes it 21-3, I guess, Missouri. I got to figure out how to edit this. Sorry, 21-3 Alabama, not 21-3 Missouri. That would have been a heck of a momentum-changing drive. It didn't happen that way, but 21-3 Bama. Missouri got on the board, so that's not bad. Harrison Mevis making a lot of fans early on, so yeah, Dan, I appreciate that, man. Look, sometimes, man, you got to have a little fun, right? Like, we watch sports for entertainment and to have a good time. And if it just makes you mad, you can't watch. Sometimes you got to laugh and enjoy it a little bit. So every Saturday we can hang out here and we can kind of commiserate with each other. Because, look, I've told you guys a million times, I'm not a fan, but it's way more fun to cover a good team and a winning team. And long seasons are not the greatest things ever, so they're not a lot of fun. But I love that True Divinity is going to hang around. I hope you're awake for the post game show, man. I really do, because I think you told us at the beginning of this broadcast you were 7 Bud Lights in. So I want an update. I want to know what the number is now. Hump 707 back on the comeback trail. I got to agree with Eric. I'd hand the ball to Larry Roundtree and Tyler Beatty a lot more. Oh, I didn't know Todd Blackledge was the commentator. I actually think he's a decent commentator, but I still just have I have feelings about Todd Blackledge that date back to 7-year-old me, seeing him drafted, over Marino and some other guys. And this is what we're here for, guys. I might keep a True Divinity scoreboard. 13 Bud Lights in. It is 7:22. Like, a lot of dudes haven't had dinner. And True Divinity is 13 Bud Lights in. God love you, man. Let's see. Threshold for number of losses before the post-game drink is sponsored by Dogmaster Distillery. I do actually have some Dogmaster bourbon down in my pantry. I'm not generally a bourbon drinker, though, to be quite honest. I'd rather have a beer, but you never know, man. We might make some changes along the way. This is quickly just going to become a booze show. We're just going to talk about what everybody's drinking. Parents are drinking the wine. Brian, 6-pack of Modelo. So. Yeah, Chuck Edmonds, there you go, man. That Purdue game, maybe the worst Missouri game I've ever seen. That play they just showed on the broadcast, I was about 25 feet from that in the back of the end zone. So we're back, 21-3 Bama. I don't know, 7-something left in the second quarter. Trust me, my dad does not care what I say on this broadcast. I mean, he can tell me if he's not. I assume this is in relation to showing the kick and catch. Yeah, that was nuts, man. I was actually grabbing people after that play, telling them to get off the field because he caught the ball. Missouri fans were storming the field, thinking the game was over. It was not. 6 minutes left. Actually, I'm gonna check the other SEC scores real quick. Update you there. A&M up on Vandy. Tennessee has now tied South Carolina. So. Tennessee actually just started the second quarter. A&M also into the second quarter. So been I'm sure we'll talk some SEC football on the post-game show. Been a somewhat interesting day. Mississippi State probably the most noteworthy thing. Auburn just very businesslike against Kentucky. I thought Kentucky would put up a little more of a fight in that one than they did. I tell you what, I promise Nick Saban's first comment after this game is going to be how he's upset with all the penalties. Way too many penalties. All right, Knob Creek for TYs. Jim Bob out in Wyoming drinking some Evan Williams. You got good in-laws, Jim Bob. That's not bad, man. Bringing you Evan Williams and letting you watch the game. That's all right. Chris Abrams' drain is just getting drilled on these punt returns. Oh, that was a replay. Okay, I thought that was like the same thing, but he's just getting he's doing a nice job standing in there. As far as the 2021 recruiting class and stuff, I don't know, man. We'll Sean Williams is out on the road watching some of those guys. That's something we'll more probably break down on like our Wednesday shows. I'm sure there are probably a couple guys, maybe offensive linemen, that Eli Drinkwitz would be perfectly happy if they were around tonight. He could use some. Ennis Rakestraw, he hadn't done a bad job, man. He hadn't been beat big. I mean, a couple guys have gotten open, but hey, guys are going to get open, man. This is the best receiving core in the country. Devontae Smith, you see those numbers from last year. Jalen Waddle, now the number 2 guy. So, man, I might just turn this show over to True Divinity. I might give him I might go buy him a microphone and take it to his house and just let him do the show. Another penalty. Saban freaking out, man. Saban is going to absolutely destroy somebody at halftime of this game. Devontae Smith, good. In case you were curious. Chuck, I don't know if your question meant to say the rest of the SEC or the rear of the SEC. I mean, look, they can compete with Alabama, or not with Alabama, I'm sorry, with Arkansas, with Vandy, certainly. The question really is, can you compete with South Carolina, with Ole Miss, with Mississippi State, with that tier? You've got to catch that tier. And then when you catch that tier, then you can think about catching the Tennessee A&M tier. And then you can maybe think about catching, the Auburn, LSU, Florida, Georgia tier. After now, that's a ways away. But yeah, right now you're trying to be better really than South Carolina, and Ole Miss. And then your next step is try to be better than Kentucky and and Tennessee, A&M, teams like that. Jalen Waddle, man, that dude is shifty. Cannot wait, True Divinity. Cannot wait. You're probably going to be my first caller. I'd probably hook you up with a free PowerMizzou mask or something. I agree with that, Brian. That's a fair statement. I don't think you need to necessarily see those signs tonight. I mean, again, you'd like to see Missouri get a stop before half here, right? And then they get the ball to start the third quarter. And hey, maybe you go down and get some points and it's 21-10 and you have some things to be positive about. Bama goes and scores here. It's 28-3. Everything else kind of doesn't matter. So you'd like a stop here to have something to maybe feel kind of good about going into the locker room. But I'm not going to make any judgments on this game. Number 2 team in the country, weirdest offseason ever. Team we already knew was pretty outmanned, injuries and all that. I mean, if they lose 52-3, they lose 52-3. They won't be the only team that loses 52-3 to Alabama this year. All right, how many new guys you can bring in? Yeah, it's 25 total. That's and that's what we expect them to do. I mean, they're losing 19 guys, but they get 4 back from the NCAA. They're already 1 under the limit. So, but there is a ceiling of 25. And Markel Utzi now down on the field for Missouri. I'm going to see if I can check Twitter and maybe see what happened. All right, Mitchell Forty says he has walked off on his own, so that is good news for him and for Missouri. Hope you guys are keeping up with Mitch on Twitter, keeping up with the message board. I know that's a lot of things. I mean, I'm not even keeping up with all those things. So if you're not doing it, I get it. But 25 guys next year. I expect them to use them all. Sometimes there seems to be a little bit of way around that as far as counting guys backwards and stuff. Not much, to be quite honest. I think that probably 25 is a good place to be. If they get up to 26 or 27, it's certainly possible. Again, Markel Utzi is hurt, but Mitchell Forty was saying he walked off under his own power, and I didn't see if Jarvis Ware was back in on that last series or not. I know that somebody here had indicated the radio broadcast said he was going to be. Didn't see if he came back, but staying healthy is a concern, especially because they don't have that many guys, man. They got 67 guys dressed for this game. Scholarship guys. Now they got some walk-ons and stuff like that, but that's not a whole lot. All right, so we got about 3 minutes left. Just so you guys know what I'm going to do at halftime, I'm going to update the stats, talk about that for a couple minutes. Then we're just going to put up a break screen, and I'm going to go take care of just refill my water. Probably take a break for 4 or 5 minutes, but we'll be here second half. We'll be hanging out. No question about it. I'm going to be here for the whole game. So, hopefully most of you guys will be too. Hopefully we'll get some action on the post-game show. It's going to be a little bit late, but, again, after the game, what I'll do is I will, as soon as the clock goes to 0, as soon as we've got a final score, I'm going to end this broadcast. And I'm going to hop on Eli Drinkwitz's Zoom call. I'm going to record that. As soon as it's over, I will start our post-game show. I can't give you – I'm guessing that's going to be – he'll probably start it about 15 minutes after the game ends, and it'll probably go for 10 or 15 minutes. So I'm guessing I'll be about half an hour after the game ends. I'll be on live with the post-game show. But, again, subscribe to the channel. Hit the notifications. You'll know when we go live. I'll post it on PowerMizzou, all that. So hopefully if you're still awake and if you're not, 26 beers in like True Divinity, you'll be able to find us after the ball game. We're counting down. Should be under 2 minutes left in this first half by the time Alabama snaps the ball again. Mac Jones, 216 yards on 16 of 20. It's not bad. But again, I mean, just clean. Nobody's been close to him. Oh, man, he should. Robinson just dropped a touchdown. That hit him in the face mask, no question. Breaks a string of 10 straight completions. I don't know if that was Nick Bolton's guy or not. If it was, he was not particularly close to him. Yeah, again, I mean, pretty good pretty good coverage, but Mac Jones and Jalen Waddle, man. Waddle honestly should have 3 tonight. They didn't give him the second one. Marked him out at, I think, the half-yard line. But Mac Jones' second touchdown pass of the half. Both of them have gone to Waddle. Looking at 27-3 PAT pending. That is now 28-3 Alabama. Just a minute 38 left before halftime. Flag on the field. This is the point where I promise you, everybody in the press box is just cursing about how long this game is taking for being such a blowout. This is where if I'm in the press box writing, I'm starting to write a story and going, all right, let's just hand off every play in the second half and get this thing done with. But here, man, whatever, I'm good. I'm sitting in my house. We're gonna drink together in a couple hours, so whatever. PAT still good. Into the net in front of the socially distanced hill. 28-3 Alabama, and Jalen Waddle is a superstar, which, a lot of people already knew. He is a hell of a football player. All right. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what Drinkwitz is like after this game. I mean, I don't think he'll be super angry or anything because, look, I think he kind of expected this, I think most of us did, so we'll see. All right, update on True Divinity's night. He's apparently going to pick it up a notch in the fourth quarter. He's going to go to Boulevard Week from Bud Light. So appreciate the optimism. 28-3. Oh, my pregame meal was so much better than the one in the press box. The pregame show sponsored by Burger Smokehouse. I had a brisket sandwich. I quick pickled some red onions earlier. Had some waffle fries. It was by far better than anything I got in the press box in years. Excellent point, Hump. We are a cynical group. Does this game, Patrick wants to know, change your prediction for the season? No. I mean, I picked Bama 38-10 in this game. And it might be a little bit worse than that. Second half will be interesting. I think Alabama will take the air out of the ball. I think they'll hand it off to their second and third string running backs a whole lot. Something like 38-10 wouldn't surprise me a whole lot. So no, this is what I expected. I didn't expect Missouri to be able to move the ball. I think I said in our preview, I don't see how Missouri's offense can score more than 2 times in this game. They've scored 1, so they need another one. This changes nothing about the rest of the year. Now, look, I picked them 3-7, so it's not like I was the most optimistic guy out there for this season anyway. But that's, I don't try to lie to you guys. I try to just kind of tell you what I really think, and I'm not trying to blow sunshine up anybody and pick them 6-4 when I don't think there's any way that's going to happen. So, I picked them 3-7. That's about what I see. And nothing about tonight changes that. That's a pretty good comp for Jalen Waddle. I think Waddle might even be a little quicker than Jeremy Maclin. I'm not sure size wise. Maybe Maclin was a little bit bigger. But yeah. Oh, Sir Muffle Buns, man. You don't want press box food. Gray hamburgers and purple hot dogs, and you think I'm joking. They did have something they called a nacho bar. It was a bag of tortilla chips with a little spigot with nacho cheese. Not to disparage the fine people in the press box. They don't have to feed us. They do a nice job housing us. They're good people. Just don't go there for the cuisine. The 3 wins ought to be Vandy, Arkansas, and then I just think they find another one. I think I picked it in the game-by-game thing to be Kentucky. I don't really believe that's a game they win. But like they find another one out of Kentucky, Mississippi State, South Carolina, somewhere in that group. They win another game. And I do think they'll beat Vandy and Arkansas. Look, if Arkansas looked good for a half against Georgia and then got beat 37-10. Vandy was up early on Texas A&M, but if either of those teams open against Alabama, I think it would look very, very similar tonight. Just a minute 38 left. At this point, honestly, it'd be great to get points, but I'm not sure that's realistic. You're probably trying to get to halftime, and I'm not sure how many more design runs I'd call for Sean Robinson in this game because, the payoff's just not there. It's not going to bring you back, and you want to make sure he's upright for next week. That's where it is, Jim Bob. You just watch the games, man. Just be happy there are games to watch, and wins will be a bonus. But I don't think anybody's expecting the world this year. Larry Roundtree, though, man, that kid, he's having a nice night. He deserves a little credit. 7 carries, 40 yards. That's a nice effort against the Alabama defense. I think Drinkwitz's perfectly happy to just get to halftime and try to regroup here. They'll run one more play. Chuck, I don't know, man. I don't think you and I can. We probably could agree on a lot of things. I don't think we can agree on the spigot cheese. Little surprised Missouri didn't use the timeout and go to the air there. Once you're at the 40-yard line, little surprised they didn't get a little quicker. Now it looks like they call a timeout. Not sure who that was on that last carry. It might have been Chris Abrams-Drain up the middle, which was interesting. Ooh, Orgeron and Pelini in a fight, man. I don't know. They're both Orgeron got that Cajun mean, but dude, Bo Pelini could get seriously angry. I'm not. Bo's in a little better shape, I think. I think I'd probably go with Pelini in that. But you could convince me the other way. Look, only 7 carries for Roundtree because they just haven't had the ball that much, man. They've had 1.5 sustained drives, really. Sean Robinson just caught his own pass and threw it again, which is the best thing I've seen in this game. It's the best thing I've seen. That was pretty awesome. He threw a pass, batted straight back to him, caught it, which, you want to bat it down, but I understand the instinct to catch it because that's what you do. But then once you've thrown that pass, you can't throw another one. But that was enjoyable. Sorry, I liked that. So I think that'll probably, that runs out the clock. Drinkwitz says, let's go. Let's get to the locker room. So it's going to be 28-3 at halftime. I'm gonna get our stats page updated here for you guys so you can see kind of where they stand. I know you're very interested in knowing that right now because it's sure to be pleasant. So. Truth is, I'm not sure how to edit this because it's so small. So we got to make it. Okay, so we're going to go through and update some of these numbers for you. Missouri has rushed for 49 yards. Alabama actually only 76. Surprising. The vast majority of that has been Najee Harris. Uh, Obviously, passing is where you're going to have a huge difference. Missouri's thrown for 64. That gives them 113 total. And Alabama has thrown for 239 yards in the first half. That's 315 total yards, which is, kind of a lot. Missouri actually 8 first downs. It's not great, but it's not terrible. Like I said, they had about a drive and a half sustained there. They didn't turn the ball over. Neither team did. I'm just going to run through some other stats for you guys that are a little more. Alabama 6 penalties for 44 yards. Missouri 2 for 10. Third downs, Alabama 5 for 7. Missouri 3 for 8. Average yards per play, Alabama 7.9. Missouri 3.2. Bama 14.1 yards per completion, and it's about 10.5 yards per attempt, which is an astronomical number. Time of possession 15:49 for Bama, 14:11 for Missouri. No big difference there. Sacks 1 for Bama, none for Missouri. Tackles for losses 5 for Bama, 3 for Missouri. So that is where the stats stand right now. Hang on, I took the wrong thing away from you guys. Put up the schedule next week at Tennessee, 10-3. I'm going to put the scoreboard back up here real quick, run through these before I take a break. Auburn is leading Kentucky, beat Kentucky, 29-13. We've got an update before I start running through this. It's a big day for safeties in the SEC. Okay, so Auburn beat Kentucky 29-13. Florida beat Ole Miss 51-35. Mississippi State, I don't want to say stunner, but definitely a surprise in Baton Rouge 44-34. Georgia fell behind Arkansas 10-5 and then won 37-10. Tennessee leading South Carolina 14-7. Got 6 minutes left in the second in that one. And another safety in College Station, A&M leading Vanderbilt 7-5 with 4:02 left in the first half. Vanderbilt in A&M territory facing fourth down. So that's where the rest of the SEC stands. The big blowout right now in Columbia, obviously. It is 28-3 Alabama. You are again watching On the Call with PowerMizzou. I am Gabe DeArmond. This is brought to you by Call and Gentry Law Group in Jefferson City. You can visit them online at callgentry.com. And I would highly recommend it. We do not do advertising from people that I don't, use myself or endorse myself. I know the people at Call and Gentry. They're great people. Highly recommend you guys would use them for anything that you might run into. So once again, I'm going to step out for just a couple of minutes here. Go get something to drink. You guys are going to do your thing at halftime. I'm going to come back. I hope all you will. I'm going to give it about 10 minutes. I'll be back. We'll talk throughout the second half. And then, again, I will log off. I will log on to Eli Drinkwitz's press conference, and I will be here for a post-game show where you can call us, and we can talk about the game, and we can have a drink and, hang out for a little while. So, again, I'll be back in just a few minutes. Thanks so much for joining us, and really do hope you come back. All right, hey guys, this is Gabe. I am back. I think the second half is probably about to start. Appreciate you guys hanging with us through halftime. Got a drink it, just water for now, but that'll change. But for now, we're sticking water. Got to hydrate for that post game show. True Divinity. I hope you're also hydrating. This is really what the second half is going to be, is just updates on whether True Divinity is still with us. I know out there in Wyoming, I know Joe Bob's having some, or Jim Bob, I'm sorry, is having some Evan Williams with the in-laws. Just got a text from a buddy drinking a Tank 7, so I respect that. Patrick had asked while I was away if I'm doing halftime thoughts. That'll be Mitchell. I don't know if he did it or not, but he's at the game. So that'll be him, at least for this week. I know Mitchell also is going to do the 5 post-game thoughts, which will be up right after the game is over. That'll be up on our site right after the game is over. Again, I'm going to be jumping over to Drink's press conference. We'll record that, jump back on. I'll play it for you guys, and then we will open it up to calls. I'm guessing about 30 minutes after the game is over. If we get started here in the next 5 minutes, game's 28-3. It's probably going to be a little bit quicker moving second half. I don't expect Alabama to throw a lot of passes. I'm not sure Missouri will either, really. I mean, look, game's over, right? They're not going to win. I don't care how many passes you throw. You keep throwing passes, you can get a quarterback killed. So might move pretty quickly through the second half. It'll be interesting to see. Update you on the other SEC scores. Vandy and A&M is now 7-5 at halftime. Tennessee, South Carolina also 14-7 at halftime. Those games have just gone to halftime. Missouri and Bama getting set to start the second half here, I think, coming up after about one more commercial break. So, wow. Okay, Mitch confirmed that Chris Sheeran officially opted out. He was a second-team safety. What a weird time to do it. Okay. That's interesting. What a strange time to opt out. The day before or the day of the first game. I don't know why you go all the way through camp, make the depth chart, and then weird. But more power to the kid. I'm sure that Eli Drinkwitz isn't thrilled. And look, I don't mean to judge anybody's reasons. Like, this is a weird time. It may be a very legitimate reason. So I don't want to judge Chris Sheeran for it. Just the timing of it is strange. And, so you wonder how much you wonder how many of these guys are back next year, to be quite honest. But anyway, we're about to get going with the second half. And good news, True's still with us. Never felt better. I'm sure you haven't after 19 drinks. Bob, your friend Mitchell, man, he's at the game. Like, he's covering the game in the press box. This is me during the games and post game. He's on the pregame show. He's on Wednesday nights with me. But this is, once kickoff is road games, he'll actually be on the watch along with me. But not right now. There you go, Dan. That's how it goes. All right, let's see. K Long, Devil's Cut and 7-Up. Interesting. I'm going to assume Devil's Cut is a whiskey. I don't know. I'm not a huge liquor drinker, but not bad. All right, we're getting wars going in the comments now. So. Although I think Eric is just joking. So looks like we're back with the getting ready to start halftime. And Be interested to know, even if full attendance was allowed, the crowd might look similar to this for the second half of this one anyway. Alabama's going to kick to Missouri to start the third quarter. Connor Bazelak got one series, I believe. Looked decent. Got hurt by drops in that series. Sean Robinson had a drive or two that he looked pretty good. Really, the running game wasn't there with Robinson, which surprised me a little bit, but I think that probably has a lot to do with just how fast Alabama is on defense and the fact that it's going to be pretty tough for anybody to outrun them. So eventually we will get back to actual football. Some of you guys probably already are. Yeah, that's an interesting point. Bama has not yet covered. One more touchdown would do it. I don't know what it's at right now. It was between 27 and 30 all week. So, I picked 38-10. I think that still actually has a chance to end up being about right. Nice moves by Jalen Knox and picks up 3 yards, but man, just a lot of attacking horizontally and against this Alabama defense that Missouri just doesn't have the guys for that, right? I just don't see that being the way that Missouri is going to find a way to score, to be honest. And that's the goal, find a way to put a few points on the board. Nico Hayen, Knox and Chisholm, receivers. Looks like Roundtree in the backfield. Sean Robinson with a throwback to Knox. And nice moves. Really nice moves. Jalen Knox showing some things off there. Got brought down by a shoestring. That's impressive. Because that play could have been blown up for a loss. And Knox made a guy miss and then outran a guy, and we might be finding out why. Yeah, we got a hold on. I don't know if they called 55 or 51. I don't even know who 51 is, to be quite honest with you. 51 Zeke Powell. I'm not sure if they called him or Mike Mayetti. Mayetti kind of wrapped his arms around a guy. Zeke Powell looked like he was going to and then backed off, so I'm not sure which one they called. Agreed. Jalen Knox has looked good tonight. Kiki Chisholm, I believe that's his first catch. I like this kid. He's a good talker. He looks the part, man. Pretty interesting. It shows you there's players all over. He spent a lot of time at D2. And Eric said we're going to see Sean Robinson for the rest of the half. So I think that's fair. I mean, I don't think Robinson's done anything to not play. If he was the guy coming in, I don't think he's done anything to hurt that status, and I don't think Bazelak did anything to take it away from him. Towski Dove in here on this 3rd and 8 play. Robinson running for his life again. Really nice play and throw to Knox. And Jalen Knox is starting to look like a guy that might do some things. Really, really impressive job keeping the play alive by Robinson there, and nice job by Knox not giving up on the route. And pretty good throw on the run, really. Had it in front of a couple defenders. That's something to like there. Again, look, Missouri's not going to win, but you'd like to get some points on the board and have some things to feel good about in this half. Even Daniel Parker making a move there. He also got tackled forward for about 3 extra yards. Really good to see that kid on the field. He had an eye problem in the offseason. Weren't sure he was going to play. He missed some time in camp. I don't know whether it was quarantine or injury or what, but really good to see Parker out there. Oh my, what an ugly play. Larry Roundtree just destroyed as Alabama nearly took the handoff from Robinson, and then Robinson tried to lateral it to Knox and didn't get it to him, and then Knox couldn't fall on it, and that was just that one's on the quarterback. No look pitch that just, I mean, either eat it or make sure you get the ball to the guy. But Missouri's tried that option a couple times, and it's not working. I mean, it's just not working. They can't run option against Alabama. Alabama's got a guy on the quarterback immediately, which is forcing the pitch, and then they have no trouble getting to the running back. So, yeah. I think we might have 35-3 here pretty soon, and then I think we might just see a whole bunch of running plays. Might see a whole bunch of running plays anyway. Let's check in on Najee Harris, see what he's got. He's got 14 for 75, which is a solid day. Nothing, unbelievable, but it's a solid day. Yeah, I agree with Bob. Look, I've questioned the play calling at times in this one, and I think it's fair, but I also think you have to acknowledge I'm not really sure what would work, right? I mean, what's going to work against this team? They're just better than you across the board. Their defense is better than your offense. And when that's the case, I don't know what you can call that's really going to do much good. So I don't want to pass too much judgment or be too harsh on Drinkwitz, but by the same token, some of the play calling has been a little strange. Excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. We've talked a lot about Missouri's offensive line getting pushed around in this one, but obviously the defensive line has too. We haven't really heard Kobe Whiteside's name or Trey Williams or Chris Turner. I mean, the guys making plays have been in the back seven, and it's a line of scrimmage league, and Missouri just isn't in the same league on the line of scrimmage, and I think maybe Devin Nicholson just had a late hit that he got away with. Well, Eric, what happened is they played Alabama. I mean, I know it's kind of a cop-out, but we knew Missouri wasn't in the same class as Alabama, right? And the offensive line is beat up, and not great to start with, but beat up and compromised, and they got dudes opting out all over the place. They're up to 6 now, and this is what happens when you just play a team that is simply more talented than you at every single position. And Najee Harris has his third touchdown of the day, it looks like. So that's a thing. So let's see. They'll review this. I'm not sure Harris got in. Yeah, it looks close enough. They'll probably let him keep it. Honestly, so 34-3, Bama. Extra points on the way. There's 9:45 still left in the third. Not really moving a whole lot. As far as the clock goes, I mean. Yeah, and that's the problem, right, Chuck? I mean, nothing on either side of the ball. They've got better players at every position. I mean, it's not like a little bit better players. It's a lot better players. That's where the two programs are. It's not trying to insult the Missouri kids or anything, but, I think Bama's a really talented team with the best coach in the country who had them ready to play. And if I just said on the pregame show, if Alabama came ready to play, Missouri was beat badly, and that's what happened. I mean, I don't even know if Missouri has played well or not, right? I don't know how to judge that in this game. Here you go. Jarvis Ware is not returning. I would assume that's just for this game. We'll see, I suppose. Play stands, touchdown Bama. It's 34-3 right now. Najee Harris has 3 touchdowns. I'm assuming this is going to be 35-3 pretty quickly. I won't give it to him just yet, but all right, PAT's good. 35-3. There you go. So, yeah, I mean, that's the truth. Dan's right. There's not a guy on Missouri's team that starts at Alabama. There's not one. Alabama's offensive line is all better. The defensive line's all better. Nick Bolton's a really good player. I don't think he starts at Bama. He's the only one that maybe Tyree Gillespie, but I'd be surprised, to be quite honest with you. So I think Dan's right. That's what you're looking at here. And then I wanted to spend some time on this one from Patrick. How did Odom fail to sell Mizzou to better recruits? From your conversation with recruits, was there a common theme as to why kids didn't come to Mizzou? Now, I mean, I'll be honest, guys. That's not a question we really ask a lot. Why didn't you come here? Once they go somewhere else, they're somebody else's to cover, and we don't really spend a lot of time asking kids, why didn't you go to this school? I think there were a few things in like the game may come back on, but I think this is worth talking about. And it's much more worth talking about than me updating you on 35-3, right? It's still going to be 35-3 unless it's 38-3 or 42-3. But I think this is important. The main reason Barry Odom got this job was the thing that made it the toughest for him to succeed. If November of 2015 doesn't happen, and I don't want to get into a discussion of who was right and who was wrong and what you think of it politically, that's not my point. But it happened, right? And I'm going to take this comment down, Patrick, so that you guys can see my face. And if you're, sometimes that helps a little bit more to understand than just hearing. Hopefully the audio's been good this whole time. I haven't gotten any complaints, so I think it has. But anyway, November of 2015 happened. And if that doesn't happen, Barry Odom he almost certainly would not have gotten the job here. But once that happened, and once everything that resulted from it, the major result was they were very, very limited in who was going to have interest in this job and who they could hire. And that's just true. Again, it's not whether you think that's fair or think it should have been that way. It was that way. And so the thing that made this job the toughest was why Odom got it. And ideally, and I knew this at the time, and I think probably deep down he knew this at the time. Ideally, he would have taken the head coaching job at Memphis. And somebody else would have taken this over, and then he would have gotten hired here when Eli Drinkwitz did. Because following Gary Pinkel was always going to be tough. Following Gary Pinkel after what happened in November of 2015 was frankly virtually impossible. Especially and that is not to relieve all blame from Barry Odom. That's not what I'm trying to do. I've been accused many times of carrying Barry Odom's water simply because I've known him for 25 years. It was never true, never has happened. I was the first person to ask Barry last year if he was worried about getting fired. So that wasn't the case. But ideally, he would have gone to Memphis, and then he would have come back here after 3 or 4 years running a program under his belt. And we wouldn't have seen things like the blow up after the Auburn game and some of the issues that happened in this program because he just hadn't been a head coach, and it takes some time to learn on the job. Now, Eli Drinkwitz has been a head coach for 1 year. We'll see if he, learned enough in that 1 year. But Odom came into a tough situation that he probably wasn't quite ready for and wasn't the right guy for at the time, probably, to be quite honest, looking back. And, yeah, recruiting did suffer. Now, is that because of his personality? Is it because the teams weren't any good? Is it because he didn't have a lot to sell? Is it because of November 2015? It's probably some of all of it, right? It's probably it's never one thing, but it's probably all of those things put together that put this program where it is. And I said this in camp, and I didn't really think about it until recently. But if Odom had not gotten fired after last year, and I thought there was an argument to be made that you should have kept him, or maybe not should have kept him, but I think it would have been, defensible based on the right. And 6-6, it was disappointing, but I think it would have been defensible if you brought him back. But then the more I looked at this roster, if he hadn't been fired last year, he probably would have been fired after this year. Because this team, even with a non-conference schedule, I think Louisiana would have had a chance to beat them. And I think BYU would have had a chance to beat them. And you lose those two, and you're looking at 4-8, and you're firing the coach, right? COVID notwithstanding. COVID would have changed some things. But just talking about if this had been a normal year, I think Barry Odom probably would have lost his job after this year if he didn't lose it after last year. So that's the team Eli Drinkwitz takes over. And that's why it is where it is. And it's going to take a minute. I don't think this gets fixed next year. Now, boy, watching Larry Roundtree tonight, you'd sure like to have that kid back next year. And theoretically, he'll be eligible to, because the NCAA, in all its wisdom, has decided that every conference in FBS football is playing, but this doesn't count as a year of eligibility. So, that's the thumbnail sketch of how this program got here. Roundtree moves the chains on 3rd and 1. I want to look up his numbers. He's been good. 11 carries for 56, so solid, not outstanding, but solid. Dan Dorr brings up another one. Yeah, is it as simple as a new staff and 2 and 3 stars versus 4 and 5 stars? I mean, more or less. Yeah, they've got guys all over the place, and they've got Nick Saban, who didn't let his staff and his team get complacent by this weird offseason and come in unprepared. Ed Orgeron did. Now, Ed Orgeron lost a ton as well. And I didn't watch that game. But I'm going to guess probably Ed Orgeron got out-coached a little bit by Mike Leach, right? Nick Saban ain't going to get out-coached. He's not going to let his guys come out and not be ready. But, yes, he's also got Jalen Waddle and Najee Harris, and Missouri doesn't. So, Stryker, look, this is a fair point. We've talked about this. Same two guys have started at defensive end for 3 years and done nothing. They've played a lot, and they haven't produced a lot. And that's a fair criticism. I try to, be – it's never personal about kids, but criticism about production is fair. And Chris Turner and Trey Williams really haven't produced here. That's right. Now, the problem is you're now on the second coaching staff that can't find anybody that they think deserves to play over them. So I think that says something. Robinson over the middle, Towski Dove. That's a heck of a catch if it stands. Heck of a throw, too. And Missouri really trying to get a snap off before Alabama can review this play, and they do. That's a nice job by Robinson of getting up to the line and running a play. Missouri inside the Bama 40. I mean, look, anything that happens at this point is simply, kind of window dressing, and that was not a catch, by the way. Really nice job by Robinson to get up and run a play. Again, if this wasn't 35-3, Nick Saban might have fought a little harder and reviewed that, but whatever. So, yeah, Missouri just inside the 40. We're inside 6 minutes to go in the third. Daniel Parker just got absolutely planted. Just going to roll through some of your guys' comments here. And again, some of these are going to be reactions to things I've said, a couple minutes ago. So appreciate you guys hanging with me and kind of watching me learn on the fly how to do this and making this interactive and making it worthwhile. Because if this is just me here talking, this doesn't work. I mean, nobody wants to hear me talk for 3 hours. So I don't want to hear myself talk for 3 hours. So appreciate you guys taking part and making this worthwhile. And hopefully in the future, obviously, we'll have some more competitive games that make for a little bit better discussion and all that, because there's not a ton to talk about other than Larry Roundtree being a little bit of a badass for Missouri at this point. Honestly, I love watching that kid play, man. I really do like watching him play. Jim Bob, appreciate you stopping by, man. Understand sometimes you gotta go say hi to the in-laws, but thanks for hanging out for a while. Yeah, Chuck, you're right. This is where guys are trying to turn the coach's head and earn some playing time in the coming weeks. 4th and 4, Missouri going for it, which I like. I mean, look, down 35-3, go for it. And Barrett Bannister, man, all he does is catch the football. He catches every single thing thrown to him. There was somebody over on the sideline, couldn't tell. It looked a little like Darius Robinson, really screaming for a flag. Like, these guys are still into this. They're still trying, which you want to see. Yeah, it definitely was Darius Robinson. He's over there like calling the offense on the 20-yard line. It's pretty interesting. You can really see a lot of things on TV that you can't see at the game. It's just a different vantage point. Larry Roundtree just went for a ride, but hung on to the ball. And yeah, like you guys said, you're seeing the same thing I am. I mean, they're trying. Skylar, we talked about that a little bit earlier. Yeah, I think they've run the option a little too much. I think it's a staple of this offense, but I just don't think it's going to work against this team. But I don't really know what else is going to work for this team either. So, it's kind of, I mean, you can't ask Sean Robinson to just take 5-step drops and get killed all night. You can't run Jalen Knox on jet sweeps, really, to be quite honest, So that's what you do. All right, based on the prediction for the season, should Missouri worry about the recruiting class falling apart? No. I'm pretty confident that Eli Drinkwitz and his staff are telling these guys, like, they know what to expect. Drinkwitz knows what to expect. He's telling the kids what to expect. He's being honest with them. I think they've been told, look, guys, we're going to struggle this year. Don't bail on us. Don't leave. In fact, a lot of kids, you're probably telling, hey, man, there's a place for you to play on this team, right? If we go 2-8 this year, we need some serious help. That's a nice throw across the field to Damon Hazelton, who's been up and down, had a couple drops early, but has also made a couple plays. So maybe a good sign for the future. I agree with Eric. This is a solid drive. First and goal now at the 7-yard line. 14 plays, 67 yards. And look, I understand. Alabama is not they're not playing with the intensity that they were playing with an hour ago, right? We all get that. But still, this is not an easy team. I thought Roundtree got robbed of a couple yards on that spot, but man, that kid runs hard. It's too bad that he won't have ended his career playing on some better teams, because I think he's a guy that really could have been a fan favorite. I mean, I think he is, but I think he really could have been if he was on better teams. I think he's going to be looked at as a guy that piles up a lot of numbers, kind of for some bad teams. But he's a fun kid to watch play, good kid to talk to. Daniel Parker drop. I don't know if that would have been a touchdown, because I don't know if he can get in from there. It was close. It was a nice job of throwing the ball by Robinson. That was like a Mahomes-like. That was a sidearm. I'm not positive Parker scores there. Probably should have. But just the angle of that defensive back, I'm not sure if he gets in. Oh, Sean Robinson. Oh my, that just I don't I don't know why they're blowing this play dead here. But like you really can't do that. Um, you can't take that sack way back there. You're out of the pocket. You just gotta get rid of the football. He lost 20 yards and look again. Robinson is absolutely running for his life. I get it. That's a dangerous play, man, with that helmet coming off. I don't know that it was illegal, but it was dangerous. But that's on Sean Robinson. You got to get rid of that football. There's no question. So Harrison Mevis in from 37. Nice kick there. He's done made both his kicks, which you like to see. So Missouri, doubles its score, 35-6. Kind of is going to make 38-10 difficult unless they get a pair of safeties. We'll see, but yeah, 20 yards. That was a that was a rough sack to take, man. Rough sack, no question. Yeah, that's something. Look, you got to remember, Sean Robinson hadn't played a football game in almost 2 years. That's a good point as well, Bryce. I mean, he got hit in the face mask and knocked his helmet off. Seems probably like it should be a penalty. I think this is a fair point, too. Sean Robinson's obviously having trouble running the football tonight, but a lot of people are going to have trouble running the football against Alabama. I think this might work a little bit better when the defense on the other side is Tennessee, right? So commercial break here. I'm going to update a couple of these other scores. Tennessee looks like it's probably going to survive in the other Columbia. Will Muschamp's leash not super long at this point in time. And then A&M up 14-5 on Vandy, which is certainly not super impressive. I mean, they're ahead, but this is supposed to be a bad Vanderbilt team, and A&M not exactly blowing the doors off of them. Totally agree with Hump there. Some good things on that drive. Now, again, it's, maybe Alabama's second string, maybe not playing full go, but hey, you need positives. It's still a 16-play drive, which at one point had gotten 75 yards. I think ended up with about 55 after Robinson took that last sack, and you could tell Drinkwitz was angry about it, and as well he should have been. It's a play a quarterback can't make, but did a nice job leading them down the field. And again, I have seen nothing that tells me that Sean Robinson shouldn't start next week. And that's based on he started this week. So obviously Drink thinks he's the better quarterback, right, at this point in time. So if you thought that coming into today's game, I have seen nothing that changes my mind. Now, hey, maybe something could happen in practice, all that. Sure, I get that. But, I haven't seen anything that tells me that he should not get the chance to start next week at this point in time. Again, next week we'll be in Knoxville. That's an 11 a.m. kick, so we're going to start the pregame show next week at 9:15 in the morning, which is that's more my style. Get a workout in, start the pregame show early in the morning. Might be a little early for some of y'all, but we'll be here at 9:15. We'll do the game at 11, post game 2:30 to whenever it goes. Tonight will be the same deal. When this ends, and let's see, we got a minute left here. I'm thinking this game's going to get over 9:15ish, something like that. When this ends, I'm going to hit in broadcast. I'm immediately going to go jump on Eli Drinkwitz's Zoom call. I'm going to record that, and then I'll come right back and start the post-game show. Should be within 30 minutes of the end of the game. I think about 30 minutes. Could be slightly longer than that. Want to take a chance this break once again to tell you guys this is sponsored. This is made possible by Colin Gentry Law Group down in Jefferson City. Chip Gentry and all the people down there are great people. If you've got any issues whatsoever on the legal front, you get in touch with them, and they're going to take care of you. They're going to full service. I mean, excellent people. Can't recommend them highly enough if you ever run into a situation where you need anything legally. You can find them at callgentry.com online. You can I should have their phone number in front of me. I don't. But again, callgentry.com. You go there. I mean, excellent people. Can't recommend. I just accidentally opened a window, so you guys probably heard an echo there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to callgentry.com, and I'm going to get you their phone number real quick. Phone number is 573-644-6090. 573-644-6090. Go to callgentry.com. They actually have a live online chat 24/7. So if you need anything that way, you can do that. Thanks to them, our pregame show, again, was sponsored by Burger Smokehouse. Our postgame show was sponsored by Boulevard Brewing Company. Our Wednesday night report sponsored by 573 Teas. So I want to thank all those people. Mostly, again, thank you guys for watching. We're actually we're picking up. We've got more viewers now than we've had for a lot of the night. So hopefully everybody gearing up, getting a little lubricated for that post-game show. Yeah, I don't know if I'd say based on today Georgia's taken a big step back. I think Georgia came out flat playing the worst team in the SEC and wasn't ready. But I don't know if they're going to take a huge step back. LSU, yeah, they're going to take a big step back from last year. Now, they were the best team in maybe college football history last year. I've always leaned to 95 Nebraska, but that season LSU put together was absolutely one heck of a year. So, big step back there is not unexpected. No, I think that Sean Robinson is the guy Drinkwitz thinks is the best quarterback on this team. And I'm interested that I think a lot of fans don't think that. I think a lot of fans, I don't want to say overrate Bazelak because that's not fair because we didn't see enough, but take a very small sample size from last year in either games that were kind of blowouts or a game against Arkansas who just wasn't any good, and really a quarter against Arkansas. And I think they're projecting something that might be there, but that I don't know is there. I think Eli Drinkwitz thinks Sean Robinson's the best guy to give this team a chance to win, and I think that's why he started. Now that may prove to change over time, but I think he's the guy, at least for the time being. And again, I other than that last sack, I don't really think he's done anything to, lose the job tonight. That's just I can handle people who see it differently, but that is my opinion. Yeah, Tennessee. I don't know. Obviously, I haven't watched much of that game. I don't know. We'll delve into that obviously over the next few days. That's one of those that certainly Missouri will be an underdog. It would be an upset if Missouri won, but it's not like this week, right? Where you look at it and you just know that there's no way it's going to happen. I mean, Missouri plays Alabama 50 times. They win one, maybe two. Missouri plays Tennessee 50 times. They're going to win more than two, So next week is certainly more doable. Got a quarterback change for Bama. True freshman Bryce Young is now in the game, so it'd be interesting to see if they let him sling it around a little bit. I mean, look, I don't have any problem if you're out there throwing the ball. Fine, it's 35-6. Hey, Missouri's an SEC team too. There's no running up the score. in conference games. If you don't want to get blown out, be better. I have no issue with anything that Saban might choose to do. Nice tackle by Adam Sparks there. He's been a good tackler in his career, despite weighing $170 soaking wet. Sheeran actually, responding to Patrick here, Sheeran had been listed at safety on the depth chart. He was the second string safety behind, I forget if it was Bledsoe or Gillespie. I think I actually have it here. Let me look. Yeah, I have the depth chart called up, and Chris Sheeran was the second string free safety behind Joshua Bledsoe. So a little bit surprised that he opted out, honestly. We don't know when it happened. We don't know details. We'll probably get more of that in the coming days. So, all right, third quarter is over. It's 35-6. So I'm going to call up our stats page, and you're going to watch me edit that live because, again, this is, we don't have a graphics department or anything. I am every department. So that. I just realized that I've been on mute talking about this, so that is my fault. But anyway, as I was saying, first down's a little bit closer than you might expect. Everywhere else, Bama kind of dominating in the way that you would expect in a 35-6 game after three quarters. The big numbers, Bama's 5 of 7 on third down. Alabama averaging 7.6 yards a play to Missouri just 3.3. Missouri averaging only 1.8 yards a rush, but that's a little bit misleading because Sean Robinson has 8 carries for negative 35 yards. So outside of him, Missouri has run the ball 22 times for 90 yards, which is not fantastic, but it is 4 yards a carry. I mean, I think Missouri's actually run the ball decently tonight outside of Robinson, who obviously hasn't and lost 20 yards on his last carry. But you take him away, Missouri's got 22 carries for 90 yards. Alabama has 22 carries for 103 yards, and that includes 17 for 98 from Najee Harris. So I think Missouri's actually done a decent job running the football, and they've defended the run okay. Not great, but not terribly. Bryce Young, like I said, now in at quarterback for Missouri, and they're going to throw the ball around a little bit. So, we'll probably let him lead a touchdown drive if they can get that done, would be my guess, and then just hand it off for the last 11 minutes or whatever. Man, even the passes that don't get caught, Alabama's got some dudes at receiver. I saw Jelani Williams in the game at safety there on that play. So Missouri getting a look at a few other guys here. Got 14 and a half left to go. Look, this game's been over for about 2 quarters at this point in time, really. All right, so let's run through and catch up on some of these comments. Look, I agree with this. Aside from a couple plays, what has Robinson done to show he can't play? I 100% agree. He's done nothing to lose the job. He's done nothing to show he's not the guy tonight. I'm a little bit surprised at all the Basilak, I guess desire at this point in time. Also, certainly possible that Drinkwitz isn't super thrilled with the quarterback options. This Bryce Young is a 5-star kid. I know they are really excited about him in Tuscaloosa. Yeah, next week having Mitch on during the game, that'll be good. It'll be fun to have 2 people. It's been easier just having one, just from a technical standpoint, kind of learning what I'm doing, and you guys have done a nice job of commenting and kind of giving me some things to react to and talk about. So that's been very helpful. But yeah, next week will be a little bit different dynamic with both of us here, and hopefully it'll all work out and go smoothly. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this. Question about Michael Thompson. As far as I know, he hasn't ended up anywhere. I don't know for sure. He might be back in St. Louis. I'm honestly not sure what the situation is with him right now. About 12 minutes left. Bama down. I don't know. Got a third down around the 22, I think. Clearly, Bama running some clock here, trying to get back to Tuscaloosa. Dan, no. I'm pretty sure that the Alabama quarterback has not. I mean, Mac Jones might not have to wash his uniform after this game. And that's as big an issue as the offensive line has been. The defensive line, 100%, has been outplayed on a very similar level. Again, Alabama's got a great offensive line. They're going to do that to a lot of people. But no question, it's been outclassed. I don't have any worries on the defense about the defense based on this. I mean, a couple of the plays that Jalen Waddle has made tonight, there aren't 5 other guys in the country. There might not be 2 other guys in the country that can make those plays. You got to remember they lost Jarvis Ware on the first series of the game. He's their best cornerback. And Najee Harris has 98 yards on 17 carries. Like, that's a good night, but it's not an oh my God night. So they couldn't really defend the Bama receivers, but nobody's going to defend the Bama receivers. Like, Alabama could have scored more than it has, but if they end this game with 42 points, 45 points, I mean, they're going to do that against a lot of teams. I don't think by any means, I'm not walking out of this game going, hey, Missouri's got a dominant defense, but I'm also not walking out of this game saying they've got a terrible defense. Well, here's your answer on Michael Thompson from Dan, enrolled at Missouri Southern. Wow. Stryker, the only update we saw was that Chris Trevino said on the radio broadcast that Jarvis was not going to return tonight. That's all I know at this point. Hopefully Mitchell will have more after the game, or Drinkwitz will. Yeah, Jake, this is an interesting question. I mean, look, here's where defensive football is real easy, right? If you can get pressure with 4, you're going to have a great defense. If you got to start blitzing a whole bunch, it gets a little tougher. But I think Missouri might have to blitz some this year. And, yeah, maybe you don't do it against Bama because you don't leave Waddle and Devontae Smith one-on-one with your guys that probably can't cover them. But in future weeks, I definitely think that's something you think about. Wow, I had given Tennessee the win, and suddenly now South Carolina has come back and tied them at 21 still in the third quarter. So guess probably I shouldn't have written off the Fighting Muschamps quite so quickly. Yeah, more screens is something you might see in the future. I don't know about tonight necessarily, because again, I don't know what you call against Alabama that's going to work. But definitely something you could keep an eye out for in future weeks. Nice play there in the backfield from Cameron Wilkins, who was one of those guys. Last year was so weird in so many ways, but Wilkins was one of those guys that played a game or two, and we heard great things, and then all of a sudden he just never got on the field again. We didn't really know why. We don't know what happened, but he played, and then he just didn't play ever again. So I don't know, but he's out there now. Looks like in place of Devin Nicholson, and making a play there. Looks like mostly still starters out there. Sparks and Rakestraw at defensive back. Bledsoe and Gillespie at safety. Another nice play there. That was Martez Manuel. Again, I'm not sure 35-6 is the right time to be flexing and staring down at a guy, but it was a nice play. Yeah, Florida State, man. Tough times. Tough times. All right, so 3rd and 14. We're under the 10-minute mark here. I agree. I've seen some things out of the defense. Again, not enough to necessarily say I think they're dominant or anything, but I've seen some things, that at least give you hope. Seven penalties against Alabama. I'm telling you, man, Saban's going to make somebody's flight home an absolute nightmare. Trey Williams, the strip sack there. Nick Bolton picked it up. So, Hey, we've been calling out the defensive line. Trey Williams makes a play. Good to hear, or good to see. And yeah, I'd be encouraged. One turnover on a ball that Sean Robinson never should have gotten rid of, and only a couple penalties. So I think that's good. Nice little stunt there by Williams. He came around inside, came right up the middle, got there, and Nick Bolton paid for it, but he scooped the ball up, and so Missouri's got it back. Hey, if you can get some points here, you might cover. There might be some people out there who care about things like that. I don't know. I personally don't, but some of you guys might have an interest in those type of things. So let's check in on the rest of the SEC. Again, South Carolina has caught Tennessee, but Tennessee now 1st and 10 down at the Gamecock 15 with 4.5 minutes left in the third. Vanderbilt has scored and is within 14-12 of Texas A&M. Guys, when's everybody going to learn on Texas A&M, man? I've said for years, if I could buy them for what I think they're worth and sell them for what they think they're worth every August, I would never have to work. Perennially one of the most overrated teams in America. Now, watch. They'll probably survive this and go 9-1 and make me look like an idiot, but nobody cares anyway. No Texas A&M fans are watching this. So, those are the only two games still going on. Obviously, the rest of the scores are rolling across the bottom of your screen. I hope that's something that you guys have enjoyed about this, just a way to kind of make sure you're keeping up with what else has happened in the league. And I've had it on the whole time just because I think I know it's only six games, but I think it's a good thing to just kind of be able to check in on and see how the other games are going. All right. Yeah, I mean, I think you can take some positives away. First of all, and I hesitate on this because I think back to like when Gary Pinkel in his first year, his team got cheered for losing close to Texas or kind of close, and he got really mad about it. So like you don't get try hard points in college football, right? But I see effort. I mean, this team is fighting. This team, they're still making plays. They're still trying to. They're outmanned. I mean, there's no question about that. Alabama's much, much better, and have been since the jump. But Missouri is putting in effort. They're playing hard. The guys that are out there are giving this everything they got. So that's a good thing to see. I've liked Jalen Knox tonight. I thought he's been much better than I remembered. I think Sean Robinson has showed some toughness. I think Chris Abrams-Drain has shown some toughness. I love the way Larry Roundtree's run the ball. So, yeah, I think Nick Bolton and Tyree Gillespie have been all over the place. So, yeah, I think there are some things to like. Definitely. Now it's a little harder to find them against this opponent than it will be against some other opponents. But, I definitely think there's some things that you can take. That's rough, Patrick. I'm not sure it's unfair of your son to say, but it is somewhat rough. Did I miss an injury to Ennis Rakestraw? It's certainly possible. Like I said, I got a number of things going on. Hadn't seen that, but Tyler Beatty just gets absolutely lost and then outruns an Alabama defensive back to the end zone. Nice find by Sean Robinson. Nice play design. And, yeah, there you go. See, you were asking for something positive. That's a positive. Everybody liked that one, so we've got Another thing I think you got to feel decent about tonight. I think Missouri's got a solid kicker. You know, Harrison Mevis has made all his kicks, and that's a good thing to see. I mean, they haven't been long kicks, but hey, I've seen some not long kicks taken lately. Or missed lately, I should say. Missed. All right, so here's apparently the update on Rakestraw. Might have got a finger caught in a face mask, so that'll be something to keep an eye on. Yeah, with a lot of coaches, I would think that anger was like kind of fake, but not with Nick. I think he's really that angry. All right, so I don't know. I will say 8-9 minutes left here. Let's see. Gonna take a look at Sean Robinson's numbers tonight. 19 of 25. You like that? 185 yards, touchdown, no interceptions, a fumble. About 10 yards of completion, 7 yards an attempt. Now that helped a lot by a 59-yard throw to Tyler Beatty right there, certainly. But not a bad night from Robinson. Not great, not dynamic, but he's done some things that give you hope. If you could find another stop, you could maybe backdoor this into looking a lot better than it actually was. Not that 35-20 necessarily is something that anybody's going to write home about, especially in the way it happened. But, better than 52-10. All right, 8:28 is officially the time left, so Missouri's going to be kicking to Bama. Working in an office with Nick Saban would be like, he's a great football coach. He just generally does not seem like a very happy dude. Maybe he is. I don't know. Maybe that's not fair of me to say, but he does not seem to have a ton of joy day to day in his life. Maybe, at least not publicly. Tennessee has just gone back up on South Carolina 24-21. That's late in the third. So, again, Missouri at Knoxville next week. It's an 11 a.m. kickoff, which means pregame we are going to be on the air at about 9:15 next morning. Or next Saturday morning, I should say. No, I've seen nothing tonight that changes what I think about this season, either positive or negative. Tonight unfolded pretty similar to what I expected before maybe that 59-yard touchdown pass to Tyler Beatty. I probably didn't expect that. But, All right, so apparently you guys are going to watch BYU and Troy while you call me on the post-game show. Yeah, I think Eric. I think Sean Ketting has been doing the kickoffs while Mevis has been doing the field goals, and maybe Ketting just has a little bit better leg, and they like him more there. But Ketting is he's a Columbia kid. He walked on a couple years ago. Halfway through the fourth quarter here, so we're creeping up on the end of things. Yeah, I mean it's better than not being competitive than with the Bama backups, right? Um, you know, again, like nobody's nobody's writing home about their participation trophy here, but I think there are some things to take away from the second half. Not sure who 17 is. I'm going to have to look at my roster real quick. One of the things about not seeing practice every day is it takes you a while to learn something. 17's Jalen Carlise, freshman defensive back. So he's in the ball game. First time I've seen that. Yeah, Missouri goes and wins in Knoxville next week, then yeah, sure, I'll change what I think about the year. No question about that, because that is not a game I have them winning. But every week's its own week, you know. Not saying it's not going to happen, but who knows? Cameron Wilkins still out there. I wonder if something happened to Devin Nicholson because Wilkins has been out there a lot in the second half. Maybe just get a look at a different guy, though. Starting getting a little pressure, but Bryce Young escaped that. Really nice job by a freshman of stepping up in the pocket and taking off there because that was a fair amount of pressure. To be fair, Hump, I mean, there's only 11,000 people there, and some of them have probably left, so there's not that many dudes in the stands they can show. I'm not sure where Bryce Young was trying to throw that ball, but he just hit Martez Manuel on the shins. Again, let's see next week what they do. I mean, Trey Williams just made a play, on that last possession to force the turnover. So, let's give them a week against a team that's somewhat close to their zip code, which Alabama just really isn't. Before we make judgments and start moving guys out of the lineup. Man, it's been a long road for Trajan Jeffco to get to this point, but that's that's pretty impressive. And yeah, I know it's probably against backups, but that was a pretty nice rush, and he obviously had the celebration planned for a little while. Um, so that's pretty cool to see. So down under 4 minutes to go here. Not sure who that was back trying to take that punt. Might have been Barrett Bannister. Looks like. All right, I like that story, Brandon. We'll stick that up there for a second. Everybody can check that out. All right, so Bama has the ball, so, not great. Maybe they'll cover now. A lot of dudes out there probably happy about that development. That's about the first thing Barrett Bannister's dropped in 3 years. Thought Chris Abrams-Drain did a really nice job back there. He just misjudged that, hit him in the face. And I think that's the toughest job in football, man. So Bama takes over at the 18. Indeed, indeed. They know how to set a number, which is why they build all those fancy buildings and why I haven't bet on a game since Ron Dane played in the Rose Bowl. Which was, for those of you who don't know, a long-ass time ago. Yeah, that's not ideal, that update there on Nick Bolton, certainly. Looks like Chad Bailey's out there at linebacker right now. Wholesale changes for Missouri. So Devin Nicholson coming back, so he's not hurt. Looks like Wilkins was just playing over him. Bryce Young just behind his guy there, so it's going to be 4th and 8. I don't know if they'll kick or go. All right, so again, we got about 2 minutes left here. So this is going to end pretty soon. So just to let you guys know, one more time. Well, hang on, let's get through this field goal attempt, see what happens. All right, made the field goal, so we got 38-13. I picked 38-10. I feel pretty good about that. I don't know who Alabama's kicker is, so I'm not doing the little breaking news scoring update for a late field goal from a guy whose name I don't know. Anyway, 38-13 Bama, 2:05 to go. So the final's going to be right around there. So what we're going to do when this is over, I'm going to update the stats in the broadcast, and then I'm going to hop on Eli Drinkwitz's press conference. Going to go down and grab some Boulevard for the post-game show. And I will start that post-game show. I'll play Drinkwitz's press conference. It's generally probably 10 to 15 minutes long. And then after that, I will open up the phone lines and we'll talk about the game. So I hope you guys will come back for that. The phone number is going to be 573-234-4935 as soon as I open it. I will certainly be tweeting that out. I will invite many of you to join us. And once again, last time, thanks to Call and Gentry Law Group in Jefferson City. Thanks to you guys for joining us. Hope we do this next Saturday as well. 11 a.m. kickoff against Tennessee. And I'm usually a little better at 11 a.m. than I am at 11 p.m., but I am going to be fueled by Boulevard tonight, so we'll see, man. I think this post game show will be fun. I think this is going to be a fun way to see the season, and kind of experience things a different way, not only for you guys but for me, man. I mean, I can count on probably. Well, I can count on one hand the number of Mizzou home games I haven't covered in the last 17 years. I think there was one. I went. There was a Western Illinois game that I think I was at a family wedding. It was the one where Henry Josie, I can't talk, ran for about 300 yards. Other than that, I think I've covered every one, honestly, at home. Now there have been some road games I've sent somebody else to, but boy, not many. So it's a different way for me to do it, different way for you guys to do it. Again, Mitch will join us next week, so hopefully it's been fun enough that you guys will come back and maybe tell some other people as well. This is, by the way, the longest commercial break in the history of football. I guess I got to cram in all the breaks real quick before everything ends. All right, so let's check out. I feel pretty good about being able to update Alabama's stats because I don't think it's probably going to change. If they get the ball back, they're going to down it, right? So we'll do that. And again, where it says total passing yards should be total yards, not total passing yards. I mean, Alabama was good on offense, certainly, but not crazy dominant, honestly. Now maybe they could have been. Maybe that was because Saban just wasn't necessarily trying to be crazy dominant. Although that seems kind of not like him. They were efficient on offense. Let's put it that way. I think they were efficient on offense. So eventually this commercial break is ending. Here it does. Let's check real quick the other scores. A&M 17-12 now. That's moved to the fourth. And Tennessee and South Carolina tied at 24 in the fourth. Connor Bazelak at quarterback seems kind of a weird time to throw him in, but is what it is. So 3rd and 10. Missouri has taken a grand total of 10 seconds off the clock. Yeah, that picks up a first down to Jalen Knox. So I think Jalen Knox is the biggest bright spot we've seen tonight. Let me see what he's got. He's got 2 carries for 9 yards and then 5 catches for a team high 63 yards. I mean, you got to be happy with that. I think that's good to see. So, minute 32 to go. That looked to me like pass interference, but maybe not going to get that call against Alabama late in the game. Yeah, we haven't really had a chance to talk to Damon Hazelton, so I don't know exactly what the details were of why he left Vatek. To be quite honest, Dawson Downing moves the chains there. So Missouri at least just to hang on, maybe try to throw up 6 more. Um, you know, not that it really matters. I mean, it does to the guys. I don't want to say it doesn't matter as far as perception of the game and all that. It doesn't make a big difference. It matters to the guys on the field. Missouri's already covered though, so I mean, barring something completely disastrous. Okay, so inside of 45 seconds to go here. Dawson Downing getting a little run. Haven't seen Elijah Young at all, so that indicates that the Downing's pretty clearly, at least right now, the number 3 running back on the team. I think we'll see Young at some point, but just not yet. So I would guess we've got I don't know, 4 snaps left in this game. One of them is a Connor Bazelak sack. Let's see if Missouri does call timeout. That surprises me a little bit. I thought they might not. I mean, I get it. Young team, struggling. You want to give them every chance. Well, there you go on Elijah Young. Kiki Chisholm, I believe, does have a catch. Let me look. Yeah, he has 2 catches for 12 yards on 3 targets. Hazelton has been targeted 9 times, and Jalen Knox 5 times. So So I may not be able to get you guys final stats. It looks like the stat feed has quit updating before this last Missouri drive. So I'm not sure we're going to be able to get you final Missouri stats before we sign off, which is not the worst thing. We'll have them in time for the post game show. Certainly, Dominic Jacinto moves the change, just trying to stretch this out. Again, there are so many people so angry in the press box right now. Some of those people are on deadline. Jacinto and an Alabama defensive back just tackled each other. No call, either way. Let's see. I it let's see. Was it a hold? It could have been, but honestly, it kind of looked like, I don't know. You're going to get that call a lot. You're maybe not going to get it against Alabama. Jacinto with another catch. Missouri calls a timeout. They'll have 1, maybe 2 more snaps. Okay, so stats are updating, so I'm going to go ahead and do that during this timeout. Missouri over 300 yards of total offense after this drive, so that's something. Okay, so stats are updated there. We'll go back here. And again, I'm expecting, I don't know, maybe one more snap, maybe two. You got time. It's third down. So Tyler Beatty back in. Might be Messiah Swenson out in the slot. Well, my feed just, oh, there you go. Gave up, came back. Yeah, my, is that a completion? No, incomplete pass. Okay, my feed was going in and out. So 4 seconds left. The final's either going to be 38-13 or 38-19. I don't think you even would have to kick the extra point. I don't know how that works, but Drinkwood's trying to send a message to his team that you play till 0-0, which I can, I can respect. I get it. It's week 1. You're trying to establish something. It doesn't make a big difference. It's kind of irritating when people are just trying to get the game over. But hey, he's a new coach and he's trying to send a message to his team. So there you go. Connor Bazelak made a lot of people happy, as Brian Kesey points out. So he gets in. Missouri's got 19 points. We're going to have to add 4 to the rushing yards there. Maybe more than 4. I don't know how many. It looks like 8 maybe. But game over, 38-19, Alabama with the win. Missouri, some positive signs, especially late. Second half, not bad at all. But again, 38-19, Mizzou 0-1 on the season. They'll be back next Saturday, 11 a.m., Knoxville, Tennessee. We will be back before that. I am logging off here. I am going to attend Eli Drinkwitz's press conference on Zoom. And when that is over, we will be back with the post-game drink presented by Boulevard Brewing Company. Thanks for watching and hope you stick around.